Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome to Chelsea Transfer Watch on a Chelsea Perspective. And this evening, today, again, as usual, we'll have quite a lot to talk about because we can't help it but talk about quite a lot. We'll talk about the Ligt, Ronaldo, the Jong, Rafinha, Nathan Aki, of course, Raheem Sterling, and also we're hearing the Todd Boehly traveled to Spain. We will talk about that a little bit, but again, more importantly, we will, elaborate on that tomorrow morning. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Transfer Watch, Chelsea Transfer Talk, Chelsea Transfer Debate on a Chelsea Perspective. Already have my co-host with me on the panel, Louisa. Louisa, how are you doing? I know it's your show today, so every now and then you will take over again, but it's going to be difficult because we did not discuss the title and you weren't the one that wrote the description. So I will try the best I can to help you, help us, get through the show without hitches in terms of the topic we have to discuss. So how are you doing before we get, what we have already in the chat, because we have some people already there.
Yeah, I'm fine. Using your word, I can't complain.
Yeah, it's an American way of saying I'm fine. Yes, I can't complain too. And again, thank you for, saying that, very kind of you. I'm going to catch up with the chat as usual. It is a tradition here because all of our shows are usually interactive, inclusive if you prefer. We like to carry along those in the chat, and that's very important. That's how we roll here on Chelsea Perspective. Kim, so today is the first, and that's surprise, the lead to Bayern. Well done, Chelsea. Where are you? Are you saying that the lead will be going to Bayern? If that's the case, enlighten us, because we didn't see anything like that. And I'm not sure what Nzruma wrote. Again, it's something has to do with emoji. We can see that. Big Up Coach says the Added Time podcast. The Added Time podcast. How are you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. And this is Obi Nathaniel. He says, is Stalin's deal going to be done? Again, it will be done. We're hopeful. Again, all signs indicate that the club have progressed well with in terms of the talks to sign Raheem Sterling from Manchester City. I think, as we've heard 2 days ago or a day ago, just the final details. You can say what is left, or what are things. Just a little bit of stuff is what is left to get it done or to get it across the line. So, Louisa, do you have any update for us before we move on?
Yeah, like you said, everything points that Sterling is going to be a Chelsea player, and like just right before the weekend, so he travels with us to US. So fingers crossed that it gets the final push and no last minute delay.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. The Other Time podcast says, Blue evening to you, Louisa. Again, Blue, a great brother at work, cannot miss any more transfer news on this channel. Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. I understand that you're at work, bills don't pay themselves, but thank you for finding the time to participate and listen. Again, if you're watching already, we have 22 people and we have 19 likes. Keep liking the video. And let me say this early in the show, I'd rather you like the video than donate your hard-earned money to the channel. The likes will do more for the channel than the donations. There are other ways the channel can make money. So thank you very much for all the support. Soon, I believe we will hit 4K subscribers, and we're really getting there gradually. And I know in a few days we will get there. So, Louisa, we're hearing that Todd Boehly traveled to Spain to meet with the Barcelona board and president specifically Laporta. Why do you think that is? And again, as he was leaving the meeting from the, the video we were seeing on social media, he was all smiles, which means it's a good sign. And that meeting, for obvious reasons, I think will yield some good results. And I'll tell you why. But first, I want to get your thoughts on why he had to travel to Spain to meet with the Barcelona board.
Yeah, according to him, he went to Spain for a great meal, just like Killer Red said. Because I did see the video, and when the reporters asked him, he was like, he just here for a good meal. But he was there with like a lot of files, and so far I've been seeing some reputable sources like doing a farewell graphics and farewell tweets for Aspilicueta. So I think I'm confident that they've gotten Barca to agree to a deal with Aspilicueta. What I'm hoping for is that it's not just like going there to sell off. It's also going there to get maybe either Dembele or Jong. It doesn't need to get Barca's approval, but at least maybe you can get Barca to back down from renewing Dembele's deal. So obviously, we hope that he knows we do need the players, so he's going to make a deal not just for selling a player, but bringing in players.
Here's what I believe for that meeting. Now, let's first of all, look at the players they want and the players we want. They want Cesar Aspilicueta, they want Marcos Alonso. We want a Rafinha, and they also want a Rafinha. We want Dembele. So it's like the whole thing is connected one way or the other, But here's what I think will go on in that meeting. Again, I'm learning Barcelona is close to agreeing. Have today told Aspilicueta and Marcos Alonso they can leave. Okay, says okay, yep. Again, but here's the thing: I don't think the meeting will benefit only one party. I think Todd Boehly must have traveled that far to say, okay, you want these guys, and these guys are in my team, in my club. If you want them, here's what I want you to do for me. And what I think Barca, they need more from us. We want the only player you could argue we're not too desperate to get Ousmane Dembele, but we really do want a Rafinha. So with the discussion, I'm suspecting will go something like, okay, you pull out of Rafinha, we'll let you get two players you want from us, which is Cesar Aspilicueta and Marcos Alonso, which shows they're getting even more than we're getting because we're getting a single player. And in that, I think Barca are covered in terms of the wingers they have. They still have, what's his name? I think they still have, what's this guy that's from the academy? I think he's on loan with them now. But that's, by the way, my point is I think that meeting is that they will try to reach a compromise, not just because Barca wants Chelsea players. If that's the case, it would have been the Barca president, Laporta, who will be traveling to England to talk. I think for Todd Boehly to have traveled to Spain means I think they're trying to reach a compromise. Here's what you want. Here's what we want. How can we, come to a conclusion, a decision that will benefit your club and my club? Your thoughts on then my you could say theory on what I think must have happened in that meeting.
Yeah, I'm also thinking that Todd is a businessman, so obviously he's not going to make any deals that in his own mind it's not going to be beneficial both ways. I feel like every businessman wants to even make a deal where they feel like they gained more than the other party. So we're definitely going in for a deal, but because we have like three players because now I'm hearing that we're going for FDJ rather, we're going for Frankie de Jong. It's going to be complicated on which one we're actually going for. If we do tell them that they should rescind their trying to get Dembele to renew or trying to get Rafinha, we don't know what's going on, which player we are saying, okay, this is our top priority. It could very well be that we're not even getting them to back down for Rafinha. Maybe we're getting them to back down from Dembele. So
I don't see that happening. They're desperate to keep Dembele. I don't see us. I don't. Again, that's me. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. I think I don't think they actually talk about Dembele because they're trying to keep him. Dembele is already their player, and they're trying to keep him. But go ahead, let me understand your theory.
Yeah, but someone like Dembele is not going to cost Barca anything. Even if they do let him go, first of all, another thing is if they do let him go, it's not going to bring in money for them. the person I think that is going to be most fruitful for them in that conversation of the three players that were like circling in Apina, Dembele, and FDJ is Frankie de Jong. They could very well try to convince Chelsea to go into a situation where, because they do owe him wages, and he
Yeah,
does not
a
want to.
lot,
He
a
does not want
lot.
to live without the wages. They could go into a situation with Chelsea where they are like, okay, you are going to get this player. Maybe we'll be paying off his wages little by little. Because I feel like at the end of the day, Barca wants to come out of this situation with cash at hand to do some of
Because
their
they
overhead
need
costs.
cash. Yeah, it makes
Yes, they
sense.
do need cash. So, and they are going in for Alonso. I heard Alonso costs 10 million. Aspilicueta costs 3 million. That's 30 million already. They still are trying to go in for Lewandowski. They don't have an established striker, because at the moment they want to go in for Lewandowski. Lewandowski wants to come to Barca, but they do need to settle the fee from Bayern. So you kind of see that, okay, yeah, Barca does need the money, so they are going to make a deal where they get cash from someone, and it's not going to be Rafinha, because Rafinha they are going to pay for him. It's not going to be Dembele, because Dembele is already a free agent, and they might even have to convince him with a signing bonus. They need to
Hmm.
offload Frankie de Jong, and I don't know if maybe they feel like Chelsea are more desperate than United, so Chelsea might end up having being more willing to pay more than United would be.
I wouldn't see it like that. I don't think they can say we're desperate in line than a midfielder. I think if you're talking about a defensive player, that's when I'd argue, okay, maybe they think we are. But again, let me catch up with the chat. That's that's how we roll here. And already we have 81 people watching, and we have 29 likes already. Let's shoot for 200 likes by the end of the show. So if you haven't, please take a second to like the video. I'd really appreciate that. That will make I and Louisa, my co-host, happy. The more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more people would be able to reach, and more people will have here, the more the fun the show will be. Because how we operate here is everybody has the right to update us on what's going on, even those in the chat and those on the panel. So as you're watching, if you hear any news out there that we're not talking about, you feel free to put it in the chat as long as it's Chelsea related. Killer Red says, Tots and Todd Boehly's a great meal in Barcelona. We've talked about it already. It's again, it's a meeting. And my theory is that they're trying to come to, an agreement, a gentleman agreement, if you like, where, they come, something like, you want this player, you want two of our players, and we want a Frankie de Jong. If you can give it to us, then we'll let you have them, even at the price you're asking for it. But we really want a Frankie de Jong. Just let's transition from there to whether Frankie de Jong would prefer working under his former manager, Eric Ten Hag, or come to Chelsea. But let me just catch up with the chat first. I'd say Tosin, again, we've talked about that in a bit. Hit the like button, says the Added Time podcast. And yes, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much for kindly saying that, brother. The likes do go a long way for the channel. Killer Red said, it looked like the dinner scene in Godfather Part 1. Todd isn't playing around. I think he's a smart one. And like I've always argued, he didn't become a billionaire by being dumb. He's a smart man indeed, and he knows what he's doing. Killer Red, I am here to enjoy a meal. That's just a mafia vibe. That's the truth. Says Dana Parsons says, "What's up, guys? Great that the Sterling deal is done. He is an upgrade. Rafinha will follow, and a Kounde or another good defender, possibly Aki. I don't know about De Jong. I think De Jong may well come to Chelsea Football Club. That is if we want him. Right now, you could argue, everything we've seen out there, or things we've seen out there, the rumors, you could argue just group them together and call them assumptions until they happen, because there's no telling whether what we're seeing out there are all the truth, or maybe just people making up nonsense to get clicks. Glenn says, big up people. I heard Laporta couldn't afford the restaurant bill, so Boehly had to pay. Yeah, that's relatable. I know, I get the joke, really. And here, who else do we have here? And this is Burger King Yummy. Again, I missed that your name. 45 plus Aspi Alonso for Frankie de Jong. Fair to me, but it leaves us short. big time in defense. I think you could argue it'd be stupid for the club not to be working, for defensive reinforcements because obviously, for obvious reasons, so to speak, that's the area where we need, to get players in and as quickly as possible because we're losing about 4 players there right now. That's Azpilicueta, Marcos Alonso, Antonio Rudiger, and Andreas Christensen. And here, Killer True Blue says, Akimso, you have a confirmation, then delete. Okay, I think he's talking to her or him. Killer Red says the Barca board too broke to pay. That's not the truth for their own food jokes. Yeah, that's just a joke. I get it. Evening Glenn and says Killer Red again. Let me see if I just have to. I'm just gonna skip to the very bottom. Is there anybody I haven't said hello to here? You go here. What greetings, my brother. I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while, and I sincerely do hope things are well with you. Again, Killer Red says, I heard that too. Laporta debit card got declined, apparently. This is hilarious there. Now, what if all these, shenanigans from Boehly are just PR, same way he wanted the deal to own the club? Just asking, I don't think that's the case. And if you're in the chat, let us know what you think transpired between what they discussed in the meeting between Todd Boehly and the Barcelona meeting, including Laporta, the Barcelona president. I'd really like to get your opinion on that. Now we have 190 people watching and we have 44 likes. We can do better than that. So liking the videos, please help us reach more people. Louisa, coming back to you, do you think that we are better positioned to get Laporta, to get Frankie the Young, or do you think Manchester United will get him because they have his former manager, Erik ten Hag? Your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, I've really not seen any indication that is strong enough that we actually want Frankie de Jong. It just looks like because we look like we're short on players, we're going for anything that is, we're being linked to anything that is available in the market that is halfway decent. So, but I don't think it's a case of we really want to go to a former coach. I feel like it's going to be very much dependent on what Barca agrees with him on his wages, because they may very well strike a deal with Chelsea that would end up getting his wages paid, which he would want to go for, because right now that's what was stalling his move to United, according to what we've been hearing. So it's not a case of the coach right now. I feel like it's a case of where Frankie feels, because from what we've been hearing, it feels like Frankie is going to look after Frankie, which is a good thing because you do need to look after yourself, especially when you have a club like Barca trying to stiff you up on your payments. So it's going to be a case of what is more beneficial to him. And I feel like Chelsea and Barca right now, Chelsea is in a good position because we do have 2 players that they want. We've already given them a player. They've already gotten a player on the free for us. It will be wise to try and make a deal with Todd Boehly because Todd is a new owner. He wants to impress the fans. He might end up being in a position where he could overpay more than United could. So
here's the thing: no matter how we see it, more importantly, Barca will be, the discussion for them will be how is he going to benefit them more importantly before anything else. You get that thing. So now, but let me bring it back to where I think the Young will prefer to go. For these players, Champions League is a goal. No matter no matter the relationship he had with Ten Hag at Ajax, but I learned from True Blue, but that some of them did, they had issues with him. But I don't think if they have issues for him, for Man United to have been working to try to get him means maybe they've reconciled, even if they had issues before. And just to be clear, True Blue, when he talked about that, they specifically say what player had issues with Ten Hag. But my point is, what I'm trying to say in effect is this: I think he'd prefer to come to Chelsea Football Club because he'd get the chance to play in the Champions League. And there's no guarantee, as strong as the Premier League is getting right now, there's no guarantee that Man United will even make it to the Champions League this coming season. There's no guarantee. There are all the players that are teams that are strengthening even further. I think the Young would prefer to come to Chelsea And I think if indeed what we're hearing, since yesterday, what we've been hearing since the yesterday, if that's true, I think Boehly will bring up, the discussion on that we really want him. And if you can, let us have him. We'll pay you how much you want, and then you can have Cesar Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso. It's that simple. I don't think he'd be going to Barcelona just to talk about Marcos Alonso and Cesar Azpilicueta. Again, that's me. Let me catch up with the chat again, and if I see anything I'd like you to address, I will let you address it. Right now, we have 134 people watching, and we have 50 likes. We're halfway through 100 likes. But we're aiming for 200 likes by the end of the show. So keep liking the video if you haven't. And thank you very much for 50 likes already. You guys are absolute legends. I sincerely do appreciate that. Killer said, imagine using TV rights money to pay for racks of ribs and a Pepsi in the restaurant. That's very funny, and I like that. All sports fan, Adam, welcome back. I did see you during the Blue Money show. I hope you're doing well. Mate, I cannot believe Chelsea are signing Rafinha. Delighted. Update us. Is there anything I'm missing? I didn't see that we're signing him, but it's looking likely. But because we learned that he's open to joining Chelsea, he didn't, again, unlike what we've been hearing, that he's bent on joining Barcelona, and if that falls through, he's willing to stay at Leeds United and then join Barcelona on a free or later on. Again, update us and enlighten us, please. I haven't heard anything serious about that. I have told Cesar Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso they can leave. If I read anything you're not sure, I'm reading from the screen where I get live updates. Because that's what this show is about. We're hunting for Chelsea transfer news, and as we see them, we analyze them to come to us, then come to a sensible conclusion. When are we announcing Sterling? I'm not sure. What we heard is that there are final details to iron out, and again, that sounds like it's not too much, but final details can be something that may well take days, to get done. But that's, by the way, says greetings, Kachila, and all on the panel. Roller Obo, nice to see you. I told you, bro. Again, elaborate, educate me, because I'm not seeing anything that says anything about the Rafinha deal being completed and that he's joining Chelsea Football Club. Leeds manager Mason, there's urgency from, okay, this is just about what Leeds manager is saying about Rafinha. Nothing says he's joining Chelsea, and that's from Fabrizio Romano. My boy in London got the news late last night, but we haven't. It's not been public yet, but I trust you. Adam, I trust you. Hopefully, again, if it happens, again, I owe you, again, a six-pack of beer. Rafinha was always coming, the media, the starts. I understand. There's a chance also it's a media campaign by Barcelona to try to discourage Chelsea not to further, try signing the player. And here we have, he was excited at the prospect of being here. Again, you're making me happy right now, but I'm still not sure how truthful that is. But I appreciate that, Adam. Julius Amoy says, greetings to you, Kachela and Louisa. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for being, part of the conversation. You being in the chat provides more value than I and Louisa, both of us on the panel, because you're the ones that that makes your participation counts as views. And my brother D Ludishenko, how are you doing, brother? Fingers crossed indeed. We'll see what happens. How are things with you and your family in Ukraine? I hope they're all safe and well. And again, nice to see you, brother. I know you're very busy, so I hardly see you during the streams. Maybe even in streams is the ones you usually have time to join us with. Weezy Baby says, good evening, guys. Weezy Baby sounds like a Nigerian because that Weezy Baby is Whiskey's preferred nickname. Good evening, guys. I really enjoyed your show. Keep it up. As for me, we do really need FDJ because Kante now is not much of it like he doesn't have the legs to run that much, but I think he's still valuable for us. All we need is just to find a way to play him sparingly, and he will do wonders for us still. Again, I wouldn't even consider selling Kante even if we buy Frankie de Jong. All jokes aside, if you get de Jong and Ronaldo, then Manchester United falls with Riot. Again, it's still let's see if Ronaldo comes. Do you think if Man United misses out on FDJ and lets Ronaldo leave, this will have Ten Hag want to leave sooner than expected? No. No, if you ask me, I'd say Ten Hag actually would prefer Ronaldo to leave, if you ask me, but he's not going to come out openly and say it. Ten Hag, I think if you ask me, he'd rather get on, getting the players he wants by himself, and then try to build something special like he did in Ajax by himself, and not try to manage a team that was put together by someone else. Your thoughts, Louisa?
Yeah, personally, I feel like any new manager would not want a 37-year-old Ronaldo with his ego, and because you're trying to build something, you want a team to be modeled after what you are doing. I don't think that. I feel like losing CR7 would be like a major relief for Ten Hag if Ronaldo does go, and he might not mind Frankie not coming to United if CR7 ends up leaving, because that's a huge sigh of relief. You get to build the team after what you want and not what the superstar says, because CR7 has paid his dues to get to where he is, and it calls the shots in most of the teams where it goes to, and that's why when it's not working out for him, he can easily up and leave. So any coach would be pleased for CR7 to leave at this point in his career.
And forget again, Ten Hag will never come out in the public and say, I don't want this guy to stay. But like I've said, Chelsea fans want him solely because he's CR7, not because he'll fit into how we play. They just want that name. But if you ask them, they try to explain why they want him because of goals and all that. The truth remains, they're not looking beyond who he is. The name of Ronaldo, that's how I see it. United have a relegation battle on their hands. He isn't interested in that. I don't think that's the truth. Under Ten Hag, I think quite a lot changes. And if they can bring in the players he wants, Ten Hag is good enough, to make sure they make it into the top four. Again, that's how I see it. Gunplay says the young will come to Chelsea, guys. And he prefers Chelsea because of Champions League of football. And it's that simple. Like I've alluded before, to these players, no matter how they love the manager, I think Champions League is gold for them. It is the pinnacle. And then also the World Cup and on international level and all that, if you ask me. Again, thank you very much for that comment. Rodrigo Rogers, big up coach and big up Louisa. How are you doing, brother? It's been a minute. I do hope things are with you. I haven't seen you for a while. Please let me know that you're okay. Ten Hag will go mental. That will cripple United's whole transfer window if you're still the young for him. Yeah, I know he would want him because he knows what he's capable of doing. And believe me, he will perform some magic with them if he eventually joins them. I hope we'll get him. There's a chance if he has a good relationship with the player. Again, some players, you still have players who would want to join a manager because of their relationship. But I'd still say he'd prefer coming to Chelsea because of the Champions League. But we'll see what happens. Ten Hag, again, I've read that. It says media outlets from Germany and Spain are very, very biased. It's true Rafinha is delighted with Chelsea Kuchila. Well, I believe you. I'm not going to, because there's no way to confirm everything you see out there. That's why I always advise, Chelsea Perspective followers, you only believe it's done when you see the player holding the shirt, and then he put the club releases an official statement. Because we've seen situations where players undergo medical and then still sign for another club. But that's, by the way, the only thing we do here on Chelsea Perspective is try to bring 2 and 2 together and come to a sensible conclusion. Again, thank you very much for that. As United fan, the young want to play Champions League. That's why I think he will go for a side that's in the UEFA Champions League. Again, that's very honest of you. Is Neymar joining Chelsea? I don't see that happening. But if it happens, I will take it. And if you ask me, I'd prefer Neymar over. Neymar over Ronaldo for obvious reasons, personal reasons. Let me just put it that way. Kuchila is more about the stage where both projects, Chelsea, Man United, are. Chelsea has the upper hand with Champions League. That's the truth, and also has a better project at this point. Frankie is heading to Southwest London. We'll see what happens. How many players has Chelsea signed up for now? I think you could say 3 for the women's team. Again, for the senior team, I don't think there's any. For the under 23s, I think 1. That's like 4 players. But unfortunately, again, Chelsea fans are so, I wouldn't say one-track minded. I think most of them hardly talk about the women's team. And when you talk about signing players, they only think about the men's team, men's first team. So they don't count the women's team. Again, to a certain measure, you could say it's actually sexist. It's sexism. But that's, by the way, again, I don't think it's fair. Yeah, we've signed players, but because our focus is the men's team, we haven't signed anybody there. That's why people are really concerned. But the women's team, they've done quite well. How many players now, Louisa?
Yeah, we signed 3 players now. We announced one, I think, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday. We announced one yesterday. Katrina Spitkova.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing very well. The Chelsea boy 123 says Rafinha doesn't want us. He wants Barca, so I don't want him. Again, you should follow up. Maybe you're a bit behind with what's going on out there. We learned yesterday that it's actually open to joining Chelsea. 170 viewers. Let's get 100 likes, people. We're at 74 likes right now, and we have 170 viewers at the same time, so we can do better than 74 likes. So keep liking the videos if you haven't. Please, that will go a long way for the channel. Sterling is in Jamaica, Silver, Brazil. Expect them to go direct to the US. How about Sterling's medical? Again, how is that going to be completed? So I think before he joins the team, he has to complete his medical, which means he comes back to England. Except if the club can arrange for him to do the medical in the United States, then that makes it easier. But I don't think he joins the team straight away without having completed the medicals, because that's a priority too. Maybe Boehly is there to assure we stay off Rafinha if we can chat with Dembele again. Bring on the theories. I want to hear what you think went down during that meeting. Ifwood says if the young leave Barca, it will be to Man United, not Chelsea. Okay, we'll see what happens. The young will join to hang. Let's see what happens. I think Frankie will choose Man United too. Still a massive club, plus will get to play under Ten Hag. Champions League football might just be 1 year away. How can you guarantee that? That's the thing. And again, if Barca wants to talk with Chelsea, plus Chelsea can offer Champions League football, he would just choose Chelsea. It's easy. Because if Barca doesn't want to talk with Man United, and Man United are not paying the price Barca wants them to pay, the Frankie will have no option than to come to Chelsea Football Club. It is really that simple. Leeds manager Jesse Marsh says Rafinha is in training, doesn't think he's going to the Far East at all, as things are going to move quickly. Didn't specify Chelsea, but again, you can read into it and say maybe he ends up at Chelsea. And we haven't heard that he's open to joining Chelsea. It's easy to come to that conclusion. Jeremy Ongoy, hi to you too. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. We go again. Silva, nice to see you. Rodo Alba says, I think we get either Rafinha or Dembele. Either way, we don't lose. Even Barca knows they will give up one. I don't think they will get all the players they want. Again, I think that's it for me. I'm going to bring in my co-host, to make our opinion known. Later on, I'll try to catch up with the chat. Louisa, you want to still say anything about the Frankie de Jong, drama if you want to?
Yeah, it's what they've been saying in the chat about Champions League football being 1 year away. That's a possibility, but is that a possibility you really want to make on United that basically has to do like a whole rebuild, especially if CR7 leaves? If CR7 leaves, you can argue that maybe they would bounce back immediately and go back to their 2020 form where they were fighting for the Premier League with City to like maybe the 30th week. It's actually, you could argue that, but at the same time, the way Frankie has treated Barca on his wages, you could also argue that the only thing that could happen now is that because Chelsea are coming to the table to talk to Barca, there could be a deal that could be made in favor of him moving to Chelsea, which can convince him to come. And Chelsea has Champions League to play now. A Champions League that is 1 year away is not guaranteed for anyone, especially with the way Spurs are strengthening, Arsenal is strengthening. Even the top four is not even guaranteed for Chelsea, but we are always going to fight for that.
Yeah, what was I saying? What was I saying again? A brother turned out, and I don't remember again. Again, a brother's son is better than a bird. I forgot that saying, but go ahead with what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we have the Champions League football now. This is a World Cup year. You want to be performing at the highest pace with the best players against the best teams in like a good environment. You could have, players are leaving Chelsea fine, but Chelsea are not actually going through a rebuild when it comes to our sports. We are going through a rebuild when it comes to our management. If we bring in about 4 players, we'll be ready. We'll hit the ground running. We're not rebuilding our squads. Well, these players that we let go of, Rudiger, we already knew he was leaving. Christensen, we already knew he was leaving. Alonso and Aspilicueta, we've been begging for them to leave because I don't know why Barca desired them so much, because most of the players that we're losing are players that we wanted to lose. It's not like we're losing our prized possessions. We still have the main people who were making things work for us. We still have Mount, Reece James, and I'm hearing we are going to open contract talks with him now because of the interest he's been getting. So
yeah. I think we have to do something about it quickly, because even Man City, we heard looking at him, and Real Madrid have started tapping him up. Vinicius Junior following him on Instagram and all that nonsense. But I think it's important that we do that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so definitely, I feel like Chelsea, if you are going to choose between Chelsea, the Chelsea team that you are going to go into 2020, going into a World Cup season with, or a United team, the obvious choice would be to go with Chelsea. You have a manager who's been here already for a year plus, as opposed to a new manager who is finding his feet, who you don't even know what the position of that manager is within the board. Because sometimes you go into a team, if the manager is not properly backed, you see that things are not moving the way the manager is not happy, they are not getting things done, and the rest. So I feel like Chelsea are in a good place when it comes to getting Frankie from Barca. It just depends because I've actually not seen anything concrete to see that, okay, yeah, we do want Frankie. And someone talked about us needing Frankie to come in because of Conte. Actually, when I checked out the both of them, Frankie seems to be more like a Kovacic type of player. I don't think he will be like
I think he's more, you could argue he's more defensively sound than Kova is. Again, he'll get you more goals. I think you could argue he's quicker than Kova. I think they're different. I think he can fulfill the Jorginho role. I know when we talked about him, I think it was Matt from Zivoy who argued that he doesn't think he'd be able to, fulfill the Jorginho role. But I think he's fulfilled that role better. He's more physical than Jorginho is. I think he's quicker in terms of he will release the ball even quicker than Jorginho would. I think he's you could say an upgrade to Jorginho in every angle, except maybe for experience to somewhat. So while Louisa, can you handle this comment here on the screen from Adedayo Samuel Oladele? It sounds like my Niger brother there. He says, please, can you tell me how far about our Donadios today at Chelsea? Over to you again. I didn't know how to answer that one. I've answered so many questions, similar to that. But your thoughts?
Yeah, the Don deals at Chelsea that we've signed a player for the academy. We've signed 3 players for the Chelsea women, and we are on our way to signing our first player for the senior men's team. So you can get to know about the players we signed so far. The academy player we signed is going to go out on loan most likely. I think it's already in the works. And we've signed 3 women players.
They don't count those. Unfortunately, Chelsea fans, if you're watching, if you're watching and you're still saying that Chelsea haven't signed anybody, it's unfortunate. It's not okay to, whenever you hear Chelsea, you only think about the men's team. We have the women's team, and they are one of the best in the world. They are one of the best and they've signed 3 players. So for me, that counts. But go ahead, Louisa.
Yeah, and basically we're chasing a Champions League. We've signed the three players we signed, they all have Champions League experience. The two out of the three have won the Champions League, while one has been around. I think she's the highest she's gotten to has been the semi-finals actually. So she's a really good. She's a midfielder that can score goals. She had 180 goals in like 170 appearances for Slavia Prague, and she's a Czech player. So she's a really good. We've made really good signings, but you should expect your male signings, the ones I know you're after. You should expect them just like right before the our season opener. Sorry, the preseason opener in the US.
Mm-hmm. Again, I want to take this opportunity to educate our followers. When you hear about Chelsea, always think about the women's team too. They are Chelsea too, and we take pride in how good they are and how well Emma Hayes, their coach, have done. But that's, by the way, that's again, we have Louisa here, and soon she'll be doing a lot of shows covering the women's team. Maybe that will help educate you too. Right now, we have 171 people watching, and we have 84 likes. I cannot thank you guys enough. Again, you guys deserve an upload. So you guys deserve to be clapped for. I have to be honest. I think this is the fastest we've reached that number, 84, which means we need just 16 more to reach 100. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for 86 likes already. I'd be ungrateful not to thank you guys. If you haven't, also do subscribe to the channel. Let me try and catch up with what we have in the chat. I will come back to the panel. And I will speak with Tobago, who's here, probably coming to fight me, maybe. We'll see. Again, we've read that. And this one here says, I just pray for the Ligt, Rafinha, and De Jong. Keep praying. If we can get the three of them, I think you could say we're 50%, into having an excellent window, because it will not be excellent if we can't bring in defenders, at least two more defenders plus the Ligt. We don't need a Neymar. I get it. That's your argument. I don't think we need him, neither Neymar or Ronaldo. But if the owner thinks otherwise, and if the manager wants either of those players, I can't not question that decision, because we've all called for the manager to be back. And if that's what they're doing, why question their decisions in the transfer window? Yes, okay, again, he's saying, Kuchila, let me be honest, before TT joined us, I never liked him. He always said a playing style is everybody attack, everybody defend at PSG. It was all shambolic, and it was afraid when a TT came in. But he's surprised you, right? Again, there are some Chelsea fans who don't like him that much, who don't think he's that good, but we'll see what he does next year. Let's keep faith, because women's soccer is so underappreciated. Shaking my head. Steven Masakwi, that may well be the case, but I think we should start, being inclusive whenever we talk about Chelsea Football Club. We have one of the best women's team in the world, but we talk less and less about them. Even though they've signed 3 players, you hardly hear Chelsea fans say we have signed 3 players. It's always we've signed 0 players. They don't count the women's team, and that for me, it's not okay. Todd Boehly didn't go all the way to Barcelona to talk about selling 2 old players. That's the truth, Bobby, and I appreciate that Delicious coming. Again, it's both clubs, Laporta and his board, and how would I phrase it to be correct? Todd Boehly and his contingent and the Chelsea contingent, both parties will be talking, to get something out of the meeting, something that will benefit each of the clubs participating in the meeting. It's that simple. Natalia was to say Rafinha will be a Chelsea player. Barca do not have the money to pay him. That's not the truth. Remember, they've been selling their assets and they've been making quite some money from it. Again, I think they'll be able to pay him but they're just been spending cautiously this time. Not like when Barca, when you tell them a player it's 100 million, they will give it to you. I think that time has passed. But I get your argument about it, Bobby. We'll wait and see. Yep, we'll see. Is Sterling a done deal? You could argue that, but my advice to you is don't believe it's done until you get an official statement from the club. That's when you can say done. I think the US is capable of doing a medical. Yep. Also, thank you very much for that. I think he can do it in the medical too. The teams are not yet. And Bobby says, please don't try and shame people or force them to like something. You will end up putting them off. That's what I wrote. Can you explain what you're talking about here? I really want to understand, Bobby. I really understand what you're driving
Yeah,
at
I
because
think Bobby is talking about the women's team. I don't think coach
no,
is
that's
trying to
not. No,
force people.
did
It's
I shame
just
anybody, Louisa?
no, it's just trying to say it's after all it's Chelsea Football Club. They are still part of the football club. So when you say we've not signed any player, we have signed a player. They didn't say you must watch them. Just
I didn't say so, but
acknowledge.
Tobago, did I shame anybody here?
No.
Thank you for saying that. So, Bobby, I don't know. Maybe that's how you see it, but if you feel like I'm shaming you, apologies if that's how you see it. But I will still repeat my statement again. It doesn't. I'm not shaming anybody. I'm just saying it's not okay that if we talk about Chelsea Football Club, most people just think about the men's team and not the women's team. But they're still part of Chelsea, and they're very powerful. They're one of the best in the whole world. So I don't know why you're saying that statement, and I'm surprised that that's actually coming from you. Again, Gunplay, Frankie de Jong is a baller. What a player now. What a modern day six. I remember watching him bust Madrid midfield in that Ajax, breakthrough season. I think they went up to the semifinals, I think. So correct me if I'm wrong. Smash the like button, says
Yes,
Matthew
semi-final.
Lee Benjamin. Nice to see you again, brother. It's been a minute. I hope you're well. We have 158 people watching, and we already have 92 likes, just 8 more to get to 100, and that's halfway off our target, and we're just 46 minutes into the show. Again, which means we can shoot actually for more than 200 likes a day. So please keep liking the video, and thank you very much for all those things. I'll try to skip and get to the very bottom, and if I miss your comments, I'll try to read your subsequent comments. But Adam, I want to read this. Frank Kibby and Senkar and Sam. How do I pronounce it, Louisa?
Semke.
Sam.
Yeah, Frank Kebby and
Okay.
Samke.
Okay, and by the way, Louisa is my co-host and also our main correspondent for whatever that's going on with our women's team. So I was sad to see G go. She gave us so much services and memories. Thank you for the memories, G Sun Yun. Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate that, and that's which really means being inclusive. And our Chelsea perspective here, we will try as best we can to be as inclusive as possible and not to leave out anybody from when we mention the word Chelsea Football Club. We ain't hijacking nothing, brother. Again, I'm not into the hijacking thing. It doesn't really work. But if there's one deal I'd like us to hijack, it'd be the Frankie de Jong deal because he will do our midfield a world of good. So I'm going to skip to the quite a few comments here. And if I miss your comment, I will try to read your subsequent comments. I just want to be catch up with everything we have here. And to my brother, Couch Critic is in the house. Wagwan boy, nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. He says, we get Ronaldo, Frankie, and Raheem, and we're back. I think, yeah, you could say that. And nice to see you, brother. If you haven't, please go check out my brother's channel. Couch Critic is his YouTube name. He's a football analytical genius. Believe me, you will not be disappointed. And when you get there, leave a comment in his latest video on how I think he talked about the Raheem Sterling from a tactical perspective, how and things like that. Watch the video, leave a comment, subscribe, and let him know I sent you. So I'm going to come back to the panel. I'm going to go straight to the Ronaldo story again, except if I see any, you could say any questions in the chat that I'd like us to address. Louisa, I'll start with you. It's the Ronaldo to Chelsea rumors. It's garnering a lot of pace or steam, if you prefer. And there are videos showing him. I think it was he was at the game. I think a late Dodgers game. He was there. Samuel L. Jackson was also there. So you tell me what you think. Do you think it's something that's going to happen, or do you think because we're hearing also that Thomas Tuchel has okayed the signing of Ronaldo, and we're hearing the Manchester United that they are expecting a bid from us, and we're also hearing that we're preparing to put in a bid of 14 million pounds. Your thoughts?
Yeah, personally, I feel like the amount which CR7 is coming from, the board and Thomas might just end up saying, it's CR7, 14 million, let's go for it. But at the same time, I feel like maybe Thomas might end up having to talk to Ronaldo, and they'll try to find where they are going to be at in their relationship, if this is going to be something that will work. I personally don't think Thomas might want him, but maybe he might just be influenced into wanting him. You've seen that happen with owners wanting to buy specific players because of their commercial value.
And again, we're hearing that. We know the other time when we talked about Romelu Lukaku, I think when somebody used the term, we've seen that movie before, and you and I and Thai Talks, we we really made fun of a lot of people that day. Again, the talks that okay, yeah, blah blah blah, he's gonna come, he's gonna put away all the chances. We've seen that movie before, and it's not gonna be that simple. But most people fail to realize that. Again, that's the argument. That's the argument. But we'll see what happens. I'm not sure he's going to come to Chelsea. I still think all those things we're hearing out there are all absolute nonsense. Again, we have 171 people watching, and we have 99 likes. Just one more to get to 100, and we'll be halfway through our target, which is 200 likes. But I think we can do even more than that this evening. Tobago, you can come in. Let us know what you think about the Ronaldo rumors. To me, at this point, I'd still say it's absolute nonsense. If Todd Boehly is able to convince Thomas Tuchel, to accommodate him again, I think he's headed towards some problems that I don't think he has a solution for. But your thoughts, Tobago?
First of all, yeah, guys, and then Luis, I'm happy Nigeria won for you. So hopefully we'll meet in the final. And then yes, and then again with Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh man, personally I don't want him, but again, if the club wants him for commercial value, why not? So
and if Tuchel okays it,
yeah, and if Tuchel says yes, then I'm happy. And also, and there's a journalist from Portugal, the one who broke the news about that player went for Arsenal, and the one Nunes won for Liverpool. He's so good and underrated. So he broke the news today that Cristiano Ronaldo might come to Chelsea. So we'll wait and see. And then if the club wants him, yes, we'll support him. But personally, I don't want him because his ego and it's all about Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the issue we had with Lukaku. I'm not comparing the two, but again, Lukaku came to Chelsea thinking that it's all about him, and then he forgot about everyone, even Cristiano Ronaldo now. Always, everywhere he goes, it's all about Cristiano Ronaldo. So he will take the spotlight from other players, and then we will end up causing trouble in the dressing room. So if he comes, hopefully he won't cause any problems, and then I'll be fine with it. And then, coach, a few minutes and then I need to sleep. I just want to address the.
Yeah, you sound sleepy already. But I was going to ask you, ID, because you didn't start your input by saying to be honest. But that's
Okay.
no problem. But to be honest, Tobago, let me say this again. I think you make a very 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 good point, and I appreciate you being honest about that. But I think again, this will be like the seventh time I'm saying this. Just give me a second. Let me take. Sorry, I had to take care of something real quick. Again, my point is most people are not looking beyond the name Ronaldo. But when you ask them, why do you really want him at Chelsea? The first thing they will tell you is that how many goals he will score, which is truly even an 11-year-old will say that quickly because. But the issue is if it comes to Chelsea, whether by design or subconsciously, it will be all about. But most people don't see it that way until it happens. That they will all, wake up and say, "What just happened?" And when some people say he scored 10 million goals for Manchester United, and I asked them, okay, where did they end up at the end of the season? They say, but Ronaldo did well. Well, he did well. That's probably because it was all about him. Though, again, I don't know how else to argue this so I don't start sounding stupid. But
But
that's
yes,
by the way.
that's the thing, coach.
Yeah.
To play devil's advocate here, I feel like Thomas. I don't. We've not really had to experience it, but Thomas has had to manage superstars. We know that it probably was part of why he think that PSG was short. But I do feel like Thomas has the personality that can actually, like, if it does go in for CR7, it's going to go in consciously, knowing what he's getting with CR7, and it's going to try his possible best to make sure that it doesn't affect team morale. That's
So
the
you
devil's
you
advocate.
think it's not going to be an issue?
I feel like if Thomas is going to okay this move, then he knows that, okay, this is what I need to do. And he would have had to have a conversation with CR7. CR7 is 37. He himself knows that there's a limit to what he should be doing. I feel like at United, when he went to United, everybody just kind of laid flat. Then the only situation went on. They have such weak personalities within the United squad. It's not the case at Chelsea. Even the management in Chelsea is different to the management in United.
Okay, Nick, thank you very much for stopping by. I know it's late wherever you are, so I appreciate you finding time to say hello. Couch Critic says that there are no legit strikers on the market right now. Ronaldo is a brilliant stopgap until the market opens up again. So are you suggesting we'll go for him as a short-term solution? Again, I get your argument. I join the panel and express and tell me properly what you mean by that. Again, will he score goals at Chelsea? He will score goals. But again, you must, when you talk about Ronaldo coming to Chelsea, it's important that you try to look at things, from, the positives and negatives, because him coming to Chelsea, it's not going to be all positives. There will be some negatives. And the negative aspect of the whole thing might include Thomas Tuchel losing his job. If at the end of the day we end up not doing it well at the end of the season, and nobody will look beyond, we try to look deep into it and say, okay, it was actually in fact because this happened. Rodrigo, who argued here on the panel the other day, talked about how he went to Juve. The numbers of other strikers there at Juve started dropping. He came to United, the same thing. The numbers of other strikers there started dropping, and it was just all him. And again, I don't want to argue that again. I think I'll just catch up with the chat and we'll go beyond that. Except if anybody on the panel wants to add something to it, I totally understand. Big up Luisa, Tobago, and Coach, and everyone in the chat. And again, Nick, once more, I know it's not over yet. Once more, again, happy birthday to you. Luisa, you want to say happy birthday to Nick?
Yeah, happy birthday, Nick. I already wished him happy birthday on Twitter, but happy birthday, Nick. I hope you celebrated really well.
Yeah, how about you, Tobago? You want to say happy birthday to Nick? Looks like Tobago has actually slept off. I should remove him because he told me again. Let me just remove him from.
No,
okay, you
want
to
still
say?
Here? Yeah, I'm about to go.
Okay, just say happy birthday to Nick at least before you leave.
Happy birthday, Nick Blue.
Once more,
hopefully we get Lewandowski for you.
Yeah, I hope so. So if you're in the chat, if you can take a second to say happy birthday to Nick Blue, who became a year smarter today, I appreciate that. So thank you, Nick, for all your support and everything. Again, let me see here. Coachella, I said it yesterday. All I will say it again. If Ronaldo comes, just know Tuchel has figured out a way to use him. Yeah, I think Luisa also did say that, and I remember you saying that yesterday. And if it comes, I will support him. I'd like to be proven wrong, but I'm really concerned. That's just who I am. A big up to you, Nick Blue. Trust you good. Says Ronaldo went to a very average United team. Cannot compare Tuchel and Ole. You could argue that too. Kachila, let's stay away from CR7 for the good of the club. It's not up to me. That's the thing. No matter how we argue, and no matter how long we take to talk about Ronaldo, it all comes down to what Thomas Tuchel and Todd Boehly wants. So we're just trying to be objective here. We're trying to learn. We're trying to talk about the situation and come to a sensible conclusion and say, okay, this may well be the case. Again, people, thank you for 111 likes. You guys are truly absolute legends. We're shooting for 200 likes, but it looks like we're going to go beyond that today. We're at 111 and we're just 1 hour into the show. So thank you again for all the love and support for the channel. I sincerely do appreciate that. Again, anything else? Again, I may well skip a few there. Natalia was to say, I believe the club decides to go for Ronaldo, it will only be for a reason. The coach can use some. No, I don't think so. If we decide to go for Ronaldo, it's beyond his. It will be more than just because of his playing abilities. It will be also because the commercial value he brings to the club. Again, it's all about commercial viability, if you ask me. Louisa, can you talk about that while I scroll through the chat?
Yeah, if we do go for CR7, I don't think, because if we are going for CR7, it's going to be like the main striker we do have, and he's going to play a lot of games, but maybe he's not going to play the cup games unlike he did at United. And we're definitely going in because of commercial value. Also, we do have American owners. We need to put that at the back of our mind. Roman was not too concerned with making a profit, even though Marina was in player sales trying to make a profit. But Todd Boehly, let's also remember that Todd Boehly is not like, he's just the face of the owners. He's not the sole owner. He has people to answer to. Everybody wants to make profit of their investments. No group of people to gather. And so if we do go, it's going to be for the commercial value. So which means we are going to like have to play him in games. It's going to give us goals, like we said. But I feel like Thomas would need to find a perfect balance of him bringing in goals and like building a team with him, and not just something where it's a team for him. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So it's definitely coming with the commercial value. It's going to play. Maybe he will not play as much as he played at United, because at United it felt like he was the only one that was determined to make anything happen at some point. It felt like everybody else just gave up. Maybe, I don't know if it was the CR7 effect, or if they had other things going on that made them to give up, or if it was him coming in with like his big personality and all. So let's see how that develops. I do hear that we're preparing a bit for him, so let's see how that goes.
All right, we'll see. Again, Julius Armour says, Kachila, a quick reminder, have you heard from Liam Lane? Trust he's doing great. Wish him a speedy recovery. Again, thank you very much for reminding me that. I sincerely do appreciate you taking time to remind me that one of Chelsea Perspective family members, Liam Lane, is he contracted COVID. And he told me that in the morning, and I asked everybody in the chat, everybody who was part of the show in the morning, to pray for him. I will reach out to him later in the day to see how he's doing. And thank you very much. That's very, very sensible of you, and I sincerely do appreciate that. People complain of Ronaldo not pressing. Just as saying up there, look at Gary Lineker, how he played. He never pressed or looked they just looked for him when they had the ball. Again, that's some people are like that. Not all players are not good at pressing. Hazard wasn't good at pressing, but he still did great for us. But here is the thing: if we bring in Ronaldo, we have to change something to accommodate him, because he cannot press. And Thomas Tuchel likes attackers who can press. So it's that simple. And that's not even the reason why I'm saying we shouldn't get him. It's not about his pressing. Again, there are other reasons why. And I don't want us to even talk about it further, because we'll keep going in circles. And if you come to me, I'd still present my argument the same way it is, because nothing have changed about how I feel. And if it comes to us and it does well, I will take it. Again, we have 167 people watching, and we have 119 likes. Again, thank you. And I cannot thank you enough. Please keep liking the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Delete to buy, and where did you hear that? I haven't seen anything like that. And I'm looking at live update on my screen here, so I haven't seen anything like that. The negative to not signing him is yet again an inept attack where we cannot score goals. How is the taking goals away from guys that never score? Again, he's laughing at me also. Again, I don't know how to counter-argue this right now. I've talked about it so much that honestly, I'm tired of arguing about it. The fact is, again, there's a chance we get another. We don't know what the club the plans for the transfer market are right now until the transfer window shuts. Again, listen, Couch, Dennis, I'm going to tell you this. If we get Ronaldo, I'm going to support him. And if he proves me wrong, that's it. I'll take it. But I still think he's not coming to Chelsea. If he comes, fine. We'll see what happens. Let me say, if Ronaldo ends up coming to Chelsea, I would do $100 giveaway. Mark my word. Again, let's just put it that way. Again, it says, thank you so much for yes, all the love. You're worth it. Let me see again. Glorious birthday at Nick. This is us people saying happy birthday to Nick Blue. That is so lovely to see because we're family here. Thank you very much for all those things. I agree with the commercial values, but Will cannot sign him for 4 years because it is a commercial value. Again, we'll see what happens. I'm going to skip to the very bottom, and if I missed any of your comments, apologies. Again, Nick Blue here, thanking everyone for all the love. Official Zidane joins Chelsea. Yeah, Kim, so keep up the jokes, and I love it too. Says, I will be happy if Ronaldo playing for Chelsea. Again, I will not be unhappy. I'm just looking at things objectively and saying he may well cause us problems. And remember, this is the same argument we heard before Lukaku joins us. We need a goal scorer. 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 Forgetting if we get the point man, it becomes all about that person, whether you like it or not. But that's, by the way, let me see what I have in the private chat here. It looks like, no, just send me, see what I send you on Twitter. I think that's a better way, and it will help with the Google algorithm with your channel also. But if you want, you go ahead and share it in the chat, so no problem. Share it in the chat and tell them this is a link to your channel. And please, if you haven't, go check out Tobacco's YouTube channel. Launched a few days ago, not even a week old. He will share the link in a bit. And again, we have 182 people watching, and we have 125 likes. Keep liking the video, guys. The aim initially was 200 likes. I know we can get there. I know we can do more than 200 likes. So keep liking the video if you haven't. And thank you very much for all your support. I sincerely do appreciate that. So, Louisa, I'm going to come back to you. Let's talk about the Ligt right now. Some people think he's going to go to Barca. He's going to go to Bayern Munich. And some say he's already, told them he's going to join them. And some say he's spoken with Thomas Tuchel that he prefers coming to Chelsea, that he likes the way Thomas Tuchel trains his defenders. He likes the Chelsea project overall. But quickly, let me end this. I want to ask something in the poll. The question says, where will De Jong end up? Again, 27% says Manchester United and 73% says Chelsea Football Club, which you could argue majority of people here, I think, that he comes to Chelsea Football Club. So, but your thoughts on the Ligt, you could argue it's another conundrum because Bayern really wants him.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised because what I've seen so far is that Bayern is willing to go as high as 75, which is basically unheard of when it comes to Bayern, because they have like a league where they can easily shop, and they are Bayern, so they are attractive to most German talents. So, and you
say that the whole German league is actually the feeder team of Bayern Munich.
Yes, that's basically it. And I've seen that they are willing to go as high as 75 with 10 million in add-ons, which is, I feel like it could also be a ploy for Juve to get more money, because you actually need to look at it from a business perspective when it comes to all these clubs are trying to make other clubs overbid. They are trying to panic fans, force the hands of other clubs. Ideally, I wouldn't see Bayern going as high as 75 million for a player, especially since they didn't lose a player in that position. It's not like they are, what's it called? It's not like they are desperate for a player.
It's not a priority for them.
Exactly. So I don't know why they'll go as high as that. Maybe they are seeing something that they feel like it could be worth more than that in the future. You could get in on a player because you think its price could exponentially increase. That could be the ideal. But I feel like it's also like a ploy from Juve to get something higher from Chelsea, which does not really make sense because we're already going in around the price they want, but they do want us to increase the offer. So maybe if we do increase the offer, it might come. People are saying what's his name, Ligt has already spoken to Bayern and he likes what they are doing. If he wants a challenge, Chelsea is the place. Bayern is not going to really challenge him. The only thing that is going to happen at Bayern is that he's going to be have the legs to play Champions League because maybe it's not going in as hard in the league. So he could maybe have a better shot at the Champions League, but I don't see the Leeds going to Bayern. It's either he stays put at Juve or he comes to Chelsea, and he doesn't want to stay.
Yes, let's again. The truth is, I think I've learned that once it's silly season, we see a lot of nonsense out there. We see quite a lot of nonsense out there. I think the talks that he prefers to join Barca, I think it's absolute nonsense. But Bayern, it's absolute nonsense. I don't think that's the case. They want him. And then probably because they want him, that's a chance they're the ones, engineering those rumors to try to discourage Chelsea, because clubs do that, except the English clubs are not good at doing it. Again, we'll see what happens. And one thing I'm happy about is that we're hearing that the Leeds is one of Chelsea's top priorities in terms of getting independence in, and that they're willing to pay more than they've told you they're going to pay more than whatever Bayern are willing to pay. And also, we're hearing now that Juve, they really want to get in Jorginho this window. So we're in a better, position in terms of negotiating with them. But we'll see what happens. It remains to be seen whether. But I heard also, I have to be honest, that they say they don't want any player swap involved in it. They still have an issue that they're dealing with. It looks like you want to say something, Louisa.
Yeah, and because of that, when you talked about Jorginho to Juve, that was one of the reasons why I think we are actually going in on Frankie and we'll try and get him, because if we do lose Jorginho, Frankie, there will be space for Frankie to come in.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense. So if we're really going, if in fact we're going for Frankie, I think Jorginho has to leave. We have to make a space there. And then I don't think he stays. If he stays, he'll probably end up running down his contract and leaving on a free. Bobby, I want to welcome you to the panel. How are you doing today, brother?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, brilliant. Nice to have you.
So I've got a mouthful of food.
Sorry?
Yeah. I said I was having my
eating.
dinner, so I got a mouthful of food. So.
Oh, should I give you time?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good.
I was going to ask you. You were the one that sent me the link. I actually wasn't aware that Todd Boehly traveled to Spain for a meeting with Laporta and his board. Again, I want to know whether you've changed, how you feel about the transfer window. Are you still concerned? First, before anything.
I actually called in to talk about a serious matter in relation to the transfer window that we're having this summer. First of all, it's clear that because of the lack of financial power of clubs like Barcelona that used to just go and pick up players that they wanted and were done with the market, we've now come into an era of media and agent-led publicity. A lot of these things that you're hearing are lies. I doubt if Bayern have bid that much. It could be true, but it's likely not to be true. They're not financially capable. If they are, it'd be interesting to know who they've sold to allow that to happen. And even if they have, you have to ask, well, is this guy so valuable to them? I have my doubts. But anyway, that aside, that's not the real problem. The real problem now, which surprises me, is media, and I'm talking of the mainstream media, especially for us here in the UK, the apathy towards what Barcelona is doing. Barcelona is definitely in open breach of financial fair play. Who does that? If any club in Britain or any club in most parts of the world conducts themselves like this, there will be a serious sanction brought on them by UEFA. the silence of UEFA to me right now is deafening. This is a club that is selling its rights, underpaying, asking players to take pay cuts and underpaying them, which means they are changing their contracts, owing money to players, and still seeking to buy more players by selling them a clear lie. How these other players are falling for this madness is beyond me. Maybe they've told them some financial things that is coming their way, and that's all. I mean, this is unprecedented. I've never known this in football, in top flight football. Even with clubs that have gone bankrupt or run into financial problems, at least they borrowed outright before making their purchases, even if they borrowed without having the ability to pay back. But not, I mean, right now Barcelona's gambling. They are gambling and on their name. They are trying to see if they can attract the best players that they normally do, and at least over the next year or 2 or 3, get themselves back into the reckoning of top flight European football. I understand that in a way, but a gamble it is. None of the money they are using is really theirs, considering their debts and their commitment to pay off their debts. And it's no way to conduct yourself in the so-called environment of financial fair play, which highlights financial integrity while dealing with clubs. I mean, I can't understand why the silence. Maybe the silence is that UEFA don't quite know how to address this. I think people have been hypnotized by Barca. Their strategy is insane. It's just not. It's not feasible in any way, shape, or form. Now, if by some magic you find that all of a sudden Barcelona is able to make all these purchases, then
But I was going to say this quickly. Are you aware that they're selling their TV rights shares?
10% of it, I'm fully aware.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm fully aware. Now, there's also an issue about that with other clubs in Spain. That has always been a point of contention. The percentage of TV rights that go to Real Madrid and Barcelona anyway. So that is a point that, some clever lawyers may choose to take up further down the road. But apart from that, how much are they going to get from that? Is that 250 million, the first sale? They're doing another sale for another 250 million. In a debt service that, correct me if I'm wrong, for every £1 you spend, you pay up 4. I just don't see how that is really going to help them much, apart from fund their current PR exercise, which is quite frankly what it is. And because it is a PR exercise, why is UEFA quiet? Now, if they suddenly start spending left, right, and center, somebody somewhere has to ask where that money is coming from. If it services their debt as well, that's not straight money. Sorry, that's not straight money.
Yeah, I'm not into finances, but again, I think they'd be all right, temporarily, if you want to phrase it that way, by selling their TV rights and or some other assets that they've sold to make money. But that's, by the way, let me try and catch up the chat again. I don't really understand what's going on there. It's confusing to me how they're asking. Again, you alluded to that already. Asking players to take pay cuts. Asking leasing their stadium for money, selling their TV rights, the shares, and all that, and players are still joining them. I'm not sure.
But players are
The issue is
still. are still on the waiting list. They took a photograph of Andreas Christensen today, and he still hasn't registered. Now, people are talking about, oh, Frankie de Jong loves Barcelona, he doesn't want to go. I think he doesn't want to go because they're owing him 17 million quid. He wants his money back.
No,
It's not taking change.
What's happening is that players are not actually taking a pay cut at Barca. Which actually makes sense because who would want to do that? What they are doing is that Barca are pushing the wages that they are supposed to be paying now. They are pushing it down the future. For instance, like Frankie de Jong, why he's reluctant to leave is that in his contract, it says that in 2024, it's going to earn more than it's supposed to earn in 2021, 2022, because it did say, the contract said that they're going to pay him part of his salary in 2021 and 2020, but they were going to supplement that to pay him in 2024. So they are pushing their
Kicking the
expenses
can
down
the
the
road.
future. Yes, they are
but
kicking it down the
listen,
road.
that is in breach of FFP. That's financial
Exactly. It
doping.
actually doesn't make sense. And that's why he's reluctant to leave, because now they want to sell him off. If they sell him off, they don't have to pay him that salary that they promised him in the contract.
Yeah, but
There you
in
go.
public, they sounded like they don't want to sell him. I think what Laporta is saying in public is just he wants to, squeeze out more money for whoever wants to buy the player. But let me try and catch up with the chat again. We have 175 people watching, and we have 141 likes. We're getting closer to our target. The target is 200 likes, but we may well be I think we should shoot for actually 300 because we can get there. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. All spots of fan Adam says we have lost the battle for delete. Kounde deal hasn't progressed. Skriniar is off to PSG and Koulibaly seems Juve bound. No, I don't believe that. Adam, Koulibaly doesn't want to stay in Italy. He wants to leave Italy first of all. Again, I am disappointed despite maybe Rafinha's deal revived and the young link picking up. I think we could still get what's his name, Jules Kounde, and we could still also get delete. So it's not over yet, but I get your concerns. Here says, can we win the league with Aki, Silva, Colwell, and Chalobah? Never say never. You don't know. I think we're just, you could say underestimating what these players are capable of doing. And Chelsea fans, again, they underrate Aki so much. I think it's not funny, again, because when he left, we were actually furious. We weren't happy that the clubs agreed to sell him in the first place, but I think he wanted to leave them because he wanted regular game time, and I don't think that was available for him at Chelsea then. And Tuchel here says, regarding what Bobby talked about, he says, why are Barcelona, why are they in a breach of FFP? FFP is a % of total club generated income. They are within their rights to sell TV and match rights of financial integrity of us owing a Roman. Okay. Now I get. Again, this is a bit. It's confusing to me, and it's not something I don't want to go into, calculating. But I get the argument. There's something to learn from that input there from True Blue, which means I think Barca at this point they don't fear FFP because, again, selling assets and getting money is still an income, and if they get enough, I think 300 million plus, and that I think that's enough to help not let them fall into the trap of FFP of breach the rules. Barca are backed by La Liga. That's one thing also, and I've heard that on occasions if they're in trouble, the government usually bail them out. But I'm not well acquainted with how that works and how possible that is actually. Barca will be dead in 5 years, you think? I don't think that will happen. I think they are a pride of the Spanish government. They would do whatever they can to keep them afloat. But we'll see what happens. JC Ntuli says, people, they must stop crying for Ronaldo. You might crying for Lukaku number 2. Again, that may well happen. But again, like I've argued, people, not even without realizing it, they're not looking beyond Ronaldo's name. They just want him because he's Ronaldo. They're not thinking how is he going to fit into the way the manager plays. They're not thinking, okay, look, there are positives to Ronaldo coming. There will also be negatives. So unfortunately, people don't see things like that. But if it comes, again, I will support him. Tribune says the deal is over 25 years. It's a club-generated income. Stop looking. Okay, again, I'm not going to read that part. You've made the point why the other part is unnecessary. If you ask me, please, if Frankie is okay, Frankie, not Frankie. Okay, thank you for shaming me in public tribute. I appreciate that. We need backups for fullbacks. Again, a Palmer Choki. We don't use the term backups here. We want a competition in every position, which means we need players that will come in. Again, will make force Reece James and what's his name, Ben Chilwell to give more than 100% on the pitch, knowing that if they underperform, there's somebody capable of coming in and they maybe even do better than them. That's what we need because we're Chelsea. We don't need a situation where we have starters, we have backups, and once the starters get injured, then it is down south in that particular season. We should learn from that. We need all starters at Chelsea. Again, a competition for every player. Kelly Hilton says, why forcing Rafinha when he doesn't want to come to Chelsea? How did you know? Tell me, Kelly. I appreciate, again, your support and everything, and I hope this doesn't come across as if I'm disrespecting you. How did you know that Rafinha doesn't want to come to Chelsea? We learned already. He's okay with coming to Chelsea. He actually likes the Chelsea project if Barcelona doesn't work out. And remember, this is a gentleman who, months ago, about 3, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, actually, he has an agreement in place with Barcelona. So he may well there's a chance he's told Chelsea, please, let me see. If they don't pay up, then I will come to you. It's only fair that I live up to the agreement that I have in place with them. It's that simple, but it's easy for us to jump to conclusions and feed off whatever the media, what they put out there. Again, could a CR7 be a solution to our problem? You're asking the wrong person, Dan, because I'll tell you no. I don't think he is, but maybe you think he is. Let us know why. A problem. He does score goals. Yes, Lukaku was banging. He was banging in the goals at Inter Milan. What happened when he came to us? And buys us time to get in. And I don't think if he comes, he will actually agree to a short-time deal. Again, it remains to be seen. In a market where strikers are not really available, at Chelsea's perspective, do we have a manager who values playing traditional strikers? I would say no. And I think you should by now learn that yourself. But we'll see what happens. And Dan, by the way, how are you doing? I do hope you're doing well. Tribute says the government of bailout Madrid. Barca is a Catalonian. Oh, I usually forget that. Catalonian club, an area in dispute for independence, and Pep is from there too, I know. Yeah, thank you very much for pointing that out. I think that's important to learn. Hey, Kelly, have you heard from Rafinha personally? He doesn't like Chelsea. He hasn't said anything bad about the club, and we don't know the precise details. That is just the truth. Again, we have 173 people watching, and we have 151 likes. Keep liking the video, people, and I cannot thank you enough for all the support. I'd be ungrateful not to say thank you. Again, like I've always told you, I prefer you liking the video than you donating your hard-earned money to the channel. There are other ways the channel can make money. And again, the more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and the more people will be able to reach. And more people will have here, the more the fun the show will be. So keep liking the video and please feel free to express yourself. Just do that in a civilized manner. So thank you very much. Bobby, I want to start with you on, again, we've talked about, I don't know, have we talked about the lead? We've talked about him and what Bobby actually argues that whatever that's out there, things we're hearing out there are all rumors. Bobby, what's the hold up with the Raheem Sterling deal? Because this is the second time we're hearing it. When you hear how the outlets there on Twitter presented, you think that the next few hours we'll be getting an announcement from the club, but it hasn't happened yet.
I'm not too sure. If we are to believe some of the main stories, the deal is done. Maybe the club is just waiting to announce it at a certain time, or there hasn't even been news of him taking a medical. Somewhere I read about some injury he may have. I don't believe it, but people will always find a negative spin to everything, especially when it's about Chelsea. I haven't got a clue. I believe it's done. Maybe that's why they're so comfortable. or they may be waiting to announce it along with somebody else for a better impact. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I wasn't that into the deal, anyways. That's why I'm
I
very
remember. I
relaxed
remember that
about it.
quite clearly. But if
No,
it means
I
that
mean,
Thomas Tuchel wants him, yeah, go
if he
ahead.
comes, whoopee doo, I'll support him. But I'm relaxed about it because I'm not that into it, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's good that people like myself aren't that into it, so we don't get all stressed about it, as I could do with the other deals that I think are very important for Chelsea.
Mm. Well, while I'm still with you, let me ask you this: do you think he'd do well at Chelsea?
Who's Sterling?
Yeah.
It depends what you mean by doing well.
Like,
If you,
go ahead. Let me. While I wait for you to continue, I'll bring up his stats. I still believe he'll do well, but
well,
we have to play him.
I, I
Go
know
ahead.
I know stats and things. You have to have a benchmark in anything you're buying or in any direction you're going. So
Mhm.
that's all good. But to me, I always think in sport, you are as good as the next
Yeah,
game.
I want us to once more look
And
at these statistics together. Maybe, yeah. Go ahead, Bobby.
and with him, I think he will score some goals. But will he be that striker? That striker that we look for to really make a difference. Like Diego Costa, when you needed to turn someone over or things were tight, he would pop up with a goal. Didier Drogba, all the things he used to do, especially in cup finals. Those real difference makers. Will he be that? I don't think so. I just think he's going to be a good striker, but he's not going to rip up trees. And for a club like Chelsea, you still need that striker that's going to rip up trees. That's what happens with all the best clubs. I mean, look
Mm,
at Real Madrid last season. Why they won the Champions League was because of Benzema. He'll be in a game, he probably wouldn't even see him most of the game, but from an impossible angle, he'll score or head in a
mhm.
goal or do something. He was a difference maker. I don't know if Raheem is that. I would love to be pleasantly surprised and proved
Here's
wrong, but
here's one thing. Here's one thing that gives me hope. Is
yeah.
this what Thomas Tuchel what he was able to do with some of the you could argue average players we had in the team before he arrived. And I want us to look at his numbers. And what year actually? If you're in the chat, can you please let us know what year did Raheem Sterling join from Liverpool to? He joined from Liverpool to Manchester City. I want to know because these are his all his Premier League numbers. I want us to look at it together to see again, most especially from 2017, 2018. I think is he's at this point is he at Liverpool at no, I think it's at Man City at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it shows you the year that was at City, the year it was at Liverpool also. It showed you the
So
season.
yeah, this is Man City. Yeah. Okay, at Liverpool, let's look at his numbers at Liverpool. I don't think I don't want to try. This my brain will fry trying to because it's not aligned properly. But at Man City, let's look at his number at Man City. I think this interests me. His first year at Man City wasn't that bad. 6 goals, 2 assists. But again, as his first year, that wasn't bad, and it improved 33 games, 7 goals and 6 assists. He did better this year. And then 2017, 2018, you could argue he caught fire. 33 games, 18 goals and 11 assists. That's not bad at all. And then in 2018, 2019, 34 games, he scored 17 goals, 10 assists. 2019, 2020 wasn't that bad either. 20 goals, 1 assist. But I think his numbers started dropping the moment they signed Jack Grealish because it looked at this as if whenever Jack Grealish is on the pitch, he's not usually not on the pitch. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think also those years that he did brilliant, 17, 18, and 18, 19, I think they had David Silva then. So that was why when we had this conversation in the morning, we talked about finding him another Silva, which I argue maybe Kai Havertz can be that man. So Bobby, your thoughts, again, looking at this number, I think he can still replicate those forms because it's a new beginning for him. and I'm hearing that he's a London boy. Maybe he feels like he's coming home. It's an opportunity, Some again, whatever you wanna justify how that is, whatever that comes to mind. I want to use it to justify why I believe he would do well. Maybe under Thomas Tuchel, they say another man's poison may well be another man's delicious meal. So, Bobby, your thoughts? Looking at this number, doesn't that give you confidence that he would do well when he comes to us? Even last season, he wasn't that bad, and he played less games.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Raheem Sterling is a sort of London boy per se. Most of his family are in London, and he'll feel quite home to go back to live in London. And there's no doubt that he's a good player. You see, benchmarking is the only way you can assess a player, and I accept that. And I also accept that he's at the peak of his prowess as a player at his age. I think we bought a player in his prime. I accept that. However, I think in football, you're only as good as your next game. The mentality of a winner in football is to look forward always, never look back. And if he had high stats in 2018, you have to ask yourself, if you're going to go by that, why has his stats been dropping? Now, you've said, okay, it's about...
the patch of David Silva, probably. And the arrival of Jack Grealish.
If he's so dependent on David Silva, then that should be a source of concern, because we don't have a David Silva. So, I don't know. My expectations is not too high. That's why I'm not that excited. I think he'll score, but will he? He's a striker that needs to be assisted. I can't, off the top of my head, remember any goal he's sort of really made for himself. They must exist somewhere, but I can't remember one. So I don't know. He's not that great signing. I know some people try to hoodwink us, calling him a marquee. I don't think he's a marquee signing at all. I think he's a sensible signing, because our strikers aren't scoring, and some of the chances our strikers miss, it's unlikely he will miss them. But he's not a difference maker, and that's just how I see it. So I'm slightly apathetic to the signing, and boy, do I wish he would change my mind. But for now,
if
I'm
he
looking
does
at
that,
other
I know
players.
you would take it.
Sorry?
If he changes your mind, I know you'd be happy.
I won't be happy because there's nobody else out there.
Yeah. Let me catch up the chat. Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
There's no real sort of striker that we can go for that has anything. At least because of his past, he has pedigree, which is enough to buy him. And he's not that expensive, really. So it's all
to
good.
me, actually, he isn't one of the best of passer of the ball. I think that's not one of his skills that I actually admire. I think it's as a runner. I think he makes good runs behind our opposition defensive lines. But that's by the way. I get your argument. And I didn't want him either, but I think he'd do well at Chelsea, and that's a chance under Thomas Tuchel. He starts firing on all cylinders. But we'll see what happens. I'll catch up with the chat. Louisa, I'll get your thoughts on how well you think Raheem Sterling will do at Chelsea. And if you're in the chat, also do let us know how well you think Raheem Sterling will do at Chelsea Football Club. Right now, we have 166 people watching, and we have 166 likes also. So please, people, keep liking the video. If you haven't, take a second to like the video. It is free. If anybody asks you to pay, tell them Kronos Dan had already paid for you. Please keep liking the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I think this is Kronos Dan saying like and subscribe. Can we get it up to 200 likes? Please, people, that makes us happy. The panelists, we don't pay them. It is free. But the more you support the channel, the more people will get to join us and the more fun it will be here. Adeoye Emmanuel, my Niger brother, saying, I suggest Chelsea should go for Jimenez of Atletico Madrid for Rudiger replacement and Niklas Sule of Dortmund for Christensen replacement. That's not a bad shout, but again, we going for whoever the manager was. Tira is correct. They will get at least 500 per year over 25 years. That's equal to 12.5 billion Okay, yeah, thank you for that. Click on Liverpool. Yeah, I thought that I'll switch it. For Liverpool, he had, I think he played just one season for Liverpool, 2014, 2015. He played 35 matches, 7 goals, 7 assists. That's actually not bad for his first year. You could argue that was that his first year in the Premier League. It looks like it. I'm not sure, but you let me know if I'm wrong. 2015. Okay. Oh, thank you. Sterling joined City in 2015. Okay, thank you very much for that information. I sincerely do appreciate that. Frankie de Jong can be the silver. I think he can. Raheem, Pastor Daniel Asan, God bless you. Thank you for finding the time to join us today. I know you're very busy man. He says Raheem definitely not the out-and-out striker. He's definitely not a Ronaldo. Chelsea must get Ronaldo without a doubt. Again, that's your argument there. Hi, says Bleed Blue. Nice to see you, Bleed Blue. If this is your first time here, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, and thank you for finding time to join us. Izuchukwu Nwokoro, yeah, Igbo man, indeed. Nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well. How about the Ligt? We have no new updates here. Again, I have a screen where I'm looking at what's going on. If there's any update there, I will most definitely discuss it with you guys, but I haven't seen anything serious there. So, but we'll see what happens. We're following it as it happens. If anything happens, you can be rest assured this is one of the first places you will hear about it. I think he will do well. I think he will do well also. I have a strong confidence in Sterling. I do too, Chinedu Obiagom. Thank you very much for that. My problem with Ronaldo is his main motivation is staying in the UEFA Champions League to keep his scoring record. Thank you very much. You agree with me? That again, I wouldn't say that's a delicious comment before you agree with me. Before a True Blue starts fine to me. Where does the replacement fit in, and would it be 1 year stopgap, or whose development will be sacrificed? Good question. If we get in Frankie, it's not Frankie. True Blue is going to sue you. Frankie de Jong and CR7, I think they will thrive. Just hope we get to some defenders. Says here the lead went out tonight on the Ligt deal. I don't know your sources, but enlighten me. Again, we have 174 likes, but we'll have 175 people watching. So we need just 26 more to get to 200 likes. It looks like we'll get into 300 today. So thank you very much. You guys are absolute legend. Louisa, I'm coming to you. Your thoughts. How well do you think? Do you think Raheem Sterling would do well at Chelsea Football Club?
Yeah, when it comes to players transitioning from like maybe a different manager, a different team setup, I'm always of the opinion that whenever I talk about them, I always put this caveat that if they do want to get better, if they are willing to change and adapt their play to what's going on in their team, because the strength of Chelsea is different from the strength of City. The weakness of Chelsea is different from the weakness of City. So there are some things that it's not going to translate directly for him when it comes from City to Chelsea. And Bobby made a good point about Sterling being the kind of person who needs someone to assist him. Yeah, he does need someone to assist him, but you could also argue that we do have players who do play the ball forward. The only problem is either our players are not making the right runs in the case of Lukaku, or Werner who is making the runs but is not getting the passes, or Havertz who is making the runs, is getting those passes, but is quickly closed down by defenders. You could argue that Sterling has better experience with most of the defenders that he's going to be up against. It's not like he's transitioning to a new league. He's going to be playing against the same players he has been playing week in, week out at City. The only difference now is that he's going to be playing with Chelsea. So I feel like what's out there, you also need to look at what's out there. There might be some hidden gems out there, but this is the player that we know is in the market. I don't think the signing, like Bobby, the signing does not actually get me excited, but I do feel like it's going to be an improvement, maybe not as much an improvement as people would hope for, but it's definitely going to be an improvement on our squad right now. My only issue now is that if we do go for CR7, what do people think about where CR7 is going to end up and Sterling is going to end up in terms of what they are going to play? Do we think that those two would work in the same team?
I think they will. I think they surely can work in the same team. I think they both. Ronaldo can operate on the right, on the left, and from centrally if you want. So if again, there's one argument from somebody in the morning during the morning show that if Thomas Tuchel okays the signing of Cristiano Ronaldo, already has a plan for him. But it's hard to actually argue how they will work. But it's easier. Sterling is more of a winger than he is a false nine or a forward. If you, however you want to phrase it, while Ronaldo, you could call him a forward and he can play. But I don't. He's not a traditional number nine. He's hybrid. I just said he's lost his pace. He's not that quick anymore. But on a good day, he will hurt you because he takes good care of himself. Again, I hope that answers your question. I don't know. Let me know.
Yeah, sure, that answers my question. And if you do remember that Sterling played with Aguero, so I do think Sterling coming in is going to be good for the sport. I feel like it does look like a hustler. It looks like someone who is going to be hardworking, and maybe that could rub off on the younger guys, because we do have a pretty young squad if you think about it. I don't think there's anyone around 30 besides Silva now that Alonso and Aspilicueta are going. We do have a pretty young squad, so we do need to bring in some of that leadership. And he does play. He also played with Kane in, even though Kane is not like a traditional nine that just waits for the ball. He plays with Kane in England, so Sterling is going to. I feel like we should give Sterling a chance. We should not. And when I mean give Sterling a chance, not like 1 month in, everybody starts calling for his head. Where are the stats that we wanted?
Yeah, again, what I want to say quickly about that is, again, we've all called for the club to, back the manager, and backing the manager means we were all happy when we heard that, in fact, he's part of the, transfer activities process. He's the one that says, I want player A, B, C, D. And we also heard a few days ago, that Todd Boehly says he's never going to sign any player that Thomas Tuchel doesn't want at the club. That was when the Ronaldo news first broke out. Again, my point is this: why are we even questioning the players that the club is trying to sign? And I never wanted Sterling. I have to be honest. I didn't want him. When I heard also we were going for what's his name? That he went to Tottenham, from Everton to Tottenham, the Brazilian international,
Richarlison.
Yeah, overall, I don't like him as a player, but I like his the fighting spirit. You see from him whenever he's on the pitch. I said, okay, overall, I don't like this guy, but if Chelsea gets him, I will support him. And then I was complaining as much as Bobby. Bobby isn't complaining now, but he just made the point saying why he doesn't want Raheem Sterling. Then I didn't want Richarlison, but I'm saying, okay, if we get him, well, I'll be okay with him because he fights whenever he's on the pitch. But again, I am guilty of that, of questioning the club's, decisions in the market. But we're the ones that have been calling for the club to, back the man. Now the club is doing the same thing we've asked them to do. Why are we complaining? We should stop questioning the club's decision in the market. It's that simple. Again, that's my opinion. Young Musa says that Ronaldo to Chelsea, that won't happen. Musa, can you elaborate, Danwa Wallahi, elaborate, tell us why you think that won't happen. Nason Jika. That's me speaking Hausa again. I speak a few languages, so sometimes I like to show off a bit. Victor Angayere says, my God, guys, Sterling is a winger. Yep. He is not a number 9. Yep, but he can play as false 9. I think Pep has also played him there before. For a winger to score that many goals is something special. Again, let's stop being so down about the signing. He's a wonderful signing. Again, have we signed him already? Mr. Angayere, you let me know. He's not a Chelsea player yet. You let me know, but we're hopeful. The signs are that he's coming to us. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video. We have 175 people watching, and we have beyond grateful to say that we have 177 likes. We need 23 more to get to 200. Which was our initial target, but we're shooting for 300 by the end of the show. again, thank you very much for that delicious comment. I'm so happy for the kind of business Chelsea is about to do. Mecca Kingsley, thank you. Mecca Wanne, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. What business? Kimso always negative. Kimso, calm down. Calm down, Kimso. He's even laughing. And sometimes Kimso will be so negative you start questioning, is he even a Chelsea fan? But he's a Chelsea fan, but I get he's frustrated. You should listen to Bobby talk about the Chelsea lack of Chelsea signings a few days ago. He's calmed down a bit right now. And that's, again, I don't blame anybody. That shows you truly do love the club and you want the club to do well. Coach, would you take Kimpembe? I would. Some people argue that he's prone to mistakes. He's so harsh and all that. I think there's that Rudiger spirit in him. And I think it can be polished over time and he becomes a better player. Again, I would take him anytime, any day. Thomas Tuchel knows him. And we're hearing that Thomas Tuchel is pushing for the club to sign him. So I have nothing against that. And Louisa, in a bit, I'll come back to panel. You tell me whether you take Kimpembe. Sterling would do the same job for us. Robin did for Bayern till 35 or something. We will get a 7 years still, like a City did a great deal. If we complete the balance in the rest of the squad and work hard, I think, it's not about Sterling. Like Bobby have always argued a few days ago, I think we need to make some changes in the midfield area because, again, we've been poor in that aspect, if you ask me. What about Ronaldo's transfer news? Nothing deep. Like I haven't had anything other than we're preparing to bid for him, other than the Manchester United are expecting a bid from Chelsea Football Club, which I've argued. I think all those are just absolute nonsense. Says he doesn't fit. Again, Sterling, CR7, Rafinha could be a class, but I'm not getting hyped. I was surprised. We'd be surprised if you ended and it's all negative. I will ask you your ID, Kim. So, again, anything else here? Chelsea did the right thing by drawing from the Premier League. Sterling will not need a time to acclimatize. No, he will need time to acclimatize to get to, play the game the way Thomas Tuchel wants it played, because there's no chance he'd argue Thomas Tuchel and Pep Guardiola approach games the same way. So he will still need to acclimatize no matter how you see it. But that, by the way, coming back to you, Louisa, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So your thoughts about Kimpembe, how do you like the player? Is he a player you would like to see at Chelsea? For me, like I've told you, I would say yes, he's played under Thomas Tuchel, and he didn't do bad under Thomas Tuchel. If he's really pushing, if in fact he's pushing for the club to sign him, I'd say let's get him for him.
Yeah, we've talked about him before. We're talking about Koulibaly and Kounde leagues. I do think that he's a really good player, and I've seen him on the list of defenders that we are probably looking at, and I feel like it would be a good signing for us if we do get it over the line, considering that the other defenders we've been linked to, it looks like it's not going to yield any fruit. So I do want him to come in because it does have an understanding with the manager already. So even though it's going to take time to maybe acclimatize to the league and the team, he already understands what Thomas would want from him in a game.
Yeah, but I do agree with you. Bobby, I don't know if you're still with us. I know it's very late there, so it's probably possible that you've slept off, but let me know if you're there with us. If you're, please let us know your thoughts on Kimpembe. And from this point on, if you're in the chat, if you have any questions, please shoot it and we will try to address it. Again, thank you very much for 180 likes, 20 more to get to our initial target, to get to 200 likes. But we're shooting for 300 likes. And believe me, I do believe we can do that. If you haven't, like the video. And again, if you haven't, also do subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to repeat myself again. You don't have to donate to the channel. All I ask of you is please just keep liking the stream. That makes me and my co-host Louisa happy, because the more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and the more people will be able to reach. And that way, there are other ways that the channel can make money. So thank you very much. I appreciate all the support. Thank you for 183 likes, just 17 more to get to 200. Then we'll shoot for 300. So if you're in the chat and you have any questions, shoot. It looks like Bobby has left us because it's really late where he is, so I totally understand. Says Kimpembe is underestimated by our fan base. They don't want him. I don't think the fan base don't want him. It's just because there's a mix of other players that the club is looking at. So to them, they prioritize them in the order they think they're good players. But I think Kimpembe will make a very good replacement for Antonio Rudiger. But again, it comes to mind that the truth is we're hearing that the Chelsea Football Club are deep into negotiations for the return of Ake, and we will pay something north of 50 million to bring him back. Luis, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, the Ake deal I've seen was that I really don't know. People are being negative about it because it feels like we want to catch up with City and yet we're getting City's rejects. But the thing is that Nathan wants to play first. He wants to play regular minutes. That was why he left in the first place. He's definitely not getting that at City because of the way they do rotate and kind of go about their own kind of setup. So if we're getting him in, people are saying we're going to get him as backup. I don't think Nathan will come back as a backup. If we're getting him, maybe we promised him some, maybe some. Thomas has spoken to him that he would have him in his plans. That's the only way I see him coming in. But I don't know how far that's going to go, especially seeing as how the Sterling deal is already over the line, and they would want around 50. They want around 50 for Nathan, which it does seem like a steep price when you compared to someone that is not really that. Doesn't have lots of experience and is a defender. It's kind of, but at the same time, it's a Premier League defender, so you do understand where the valuation has gotten to.
So how about comparing Nathan Ake or Kimpembe? Which of the two players would you rather the club sign, and why?
Kimpembe every day of the week and twice on Sundays, because first of all, he's already worked with Thomas, which shouldn't be like the parameter, because you do want to get in players and shouldn't always be what the managers have worked with before. But Kimpembe has a lot more experience. I feel like it's more, how do I put it now? Kimpembe is more the aggressive. It does feel like he's too aggressive sometimes, but he's a very good defender compared to Nathan is still developing. I feel like if we do get Nathan, it would not be like the end of our search for defenders. But if we do get Kimpembe, we could actually go in for maybe one or two who have less experience than him. So definitely, who would you go for?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Again, your argument made me like it's getting me to rethink my option. I would rather go for Ake, given that he's a Cobham graduate. I think if he represents Chelsea, I think he would do that with all his heart. But then again, the argument that Kimpembe has worked under Thomas Tuchel, that's also a plus. I'm not sure if the club, if we're looking at both players, but the rumors out there that we're way deep into negotiations with Manchester City for Nathan Ake, and I don't think we'd get Ake and also get Kimpembe. I don't think we'll get the two players. But again, that's my argument. Let's see what happens. Again, I've asked the chat also so far. I asked Ake or Kimpembe. 62% says Kimpembe, 38% says Ake. The truth is, I think, again, like we've talked about, I think we are the Chelsea players on the rate Ake, but again, I will always remind them that when he left, we were furious. We didn't want him to leave, but then he did. He wanted to leave also because he wanted assured, game time. But that's by the way. Let me try and catch up with the chat again. Thank you for 189 likes. We need just 11 more likes to get to 200 likes, and we'll see if we can get to 300 likes by the end of the show. And again, this is Adam talking about Richarlison. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or tenacity from Richarlison. Yeah, okay. His name is actually there. He's got spirit. That's one thing I like about him. But overall, I don't like him as a player. If we gotten him, I'd support him full time because there's a chance he turns into, and he becomes an even better player at Chelsea Football Club. His tackle ratio is one of the highest for an offensive player. Yeah, and it's important to note that. So I think he would suit Thomas Tuchel's approach to the game because he presses quite well. Elaborate, Musa. Yeah, good. Chelsea should sign Connor Cody from Wolverhampton if they cannot get the lead. I don't know him very well. So Mabili, is it Mabil 100? Maybe you should educate us more on the type of player he is. Again, thank you, you guys, for hitting my call to like the video. Right now, we're at 190 likes, and we have 133 people watching. I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you for all the love you're showing for the channel. And again, I am humbled. Cody won't cut it at Chelsea. Again, it's a player I don't know that much. Maybe I will have to research him even more. He's also a Liverpool fan, but we should start looking beyond those things if we're looking at our players. Get Kimpembe instead. Let's see. Coach, I am a Chelsea fan. I would die for this team. No, I know. I'm just. You know why I said what I said. Just how impatient you are, Akim. So you know I love you. He will do well. Again, if you are in the chat, if you have any question, please shoot it, and we'll try to address it. Victor Anayere says Sterling will not need time to acclimatize to the Premier League. Not the Premier League. My concern is no matter how you see it, managers approach games differently. And if it comes to Chelsea, that he would need to get to understand how Thomas Tuchel wants the game played. It's as simple as that. Kimpembe would definitely choose us over Juve. Plus, we have French players. Kimpembe would love London. We should be all over him. He is a Rudiger Jr. Juve, has he left? Juve had a French international as their defensive midfielder. Maybe he's left. What's his name again? How do I forget his name? This guy that broke a Nigerian guy's name during the World Cup game. Kimpembe, people says, 10K subs at the end of the year, I hope. Thank you very much, Kimso, for that prayer. I hope we do so and even better, but I appreciate your prayer. And thank you for all your support, because over time I've seen that you're one of the biggest supporters of this channel. Right now we have 142 people watching, and we have 190 likes. Just 10 more to get to 200, and if we can get to 300 by the end of the show, that would be nice. But I think we'll call it a day soon because it's the evening show. It's not going to be as long as the Blue Morning show. Says Salah and KDB were Chelsea rejects. Look at them now. They were not rejects. Those players decided they want to leave. Again, we must pay attention to how we blame the club for letting players go, because in most cases those players want to be starting all the time, and the club cannot assure them of that. They actually leave to go to other clubs where they get a game time. A customer says, Aki, okay, I get it. I prefer Kimpembe. Okay, let's see what happens again. I'm going to skip a lot of comments here. As Akimso says, if the Leeds deal goes through, get Kimpembe and Aki, that would be a decent backline. I do agree with you. We got rid of Tomori. We got rid of Zuma. I think, Ruma, you could say we saw Tomori, I think, wanted to leave. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Magwe, he wanted to leave. Again, now we are all over Europe in such of defenders, and we might end up paying a top dollar for Aki. Way to go, Chelsea. Remember, Aki wanted to leave. Guehi wanted to leave. And the downside to forcing these players to remain at the club is that if you force them to leave, you can't force them to sign an extension, and they run down their contract and leave on a free, and you don't want that to happen. If that happens, you end up not getting anything for the move of the players. Pastor says that City lost to Chelsea in the final because of Raheem. All the dudes with Reece James, he lost them. He's easier to tackle than Sadio Mane or even our own Hudson-Odoi. He's not a very good dribbler. Again, I'd argue otherwise, but again, you have the right to argue like you've just done. I think Chelsea should look in the German league for defenders. Can you elaborate why you said that? The government here in England is collapsing. Had this happened in March when the Roman stuff happened, we may have been in a limbo. Brothers and sisters, Chelsea have been given a rebirth, another chance. You could argue that. Coach Matuidi, thank you very much. King, so you're very smart. I appreciate that. Matuidi was the guy I was looking for. Again, he's left, right? I think he's in MLS right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's left Juve for MLS. Please let me know, Kim. So I'd appreciate that. Let's embrace this opportunity. I think we should. Coming back to the panel, if you are in the chat, if you have any questions, please shoot it, and we will try to address it. If not, we'll call it a day in just how many minutes? In about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It depends. We'll see what happens. Louisa, you have anything else you want to update us on?
No, nothing for now. So
okay, nothing for now. I guess we should call it a day. Again, Raheem is underrated in the dribbling department. He's not Neymar, but he can beat. Yeah, he can. He can. He's a good dribbler overall. Again, I appreciate that. We have 145 people watching, and we have 192 likes. Just 8 more, and we're about to end the show. So again, Bobby, I don't know if you're there. If you're there, your final thoughts on everything we've talked about today. Yeah, Bobby probably has gone to bed, and I don't blame him. It's very, very, very late there. So, Louisa, your final thoughts on everything we have talked about today, and if you have any advice for the Chelsea fans.
yeah, like you said earlier before, is that you just think that you just need one signing to get through the window, then everyone will just start falling in, and they are making deals to sort of make sure that they get all their ducks in a row so they can just like plan all the announcements and take them through into the preseason, because the season starts next month. So we definitely are working.
Just a few weeks.
Yeah, if you see Todd, it's clear that he's not just like sitting on his hands. He's trying to get stuff done. We need to be patient also, because if he's new at this, it's not necessarily new in the sports world, but European football is different from what American sports do in terms of their trade and transfer. So we should still also give him a little bit of time, because he had to like get management in order first before he started looking towards the players we could get. And he also came in during the period where we are having like a sort of, not really a mass exodus, but a sort of mass exodus, because we're losing Alonso, most likely Alonso, Aspilicueta. We probably lose Jorginho. We might lose Kepa. I don't know about that yet, but then there's Christensen, there's Rudiger. We're losing basically like almost 6 first team players.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be patient, and things we definitely get done. You and I are not going to lace up our boots and come to Stamford Bridge to play. They need to get in these players. Yeah,
that's the truth. We're not going to go play for them. I don't even remember the last time I played. Again, that's by the way. Again, that's again the poll that asked Aki or Kimpembe. 65% want Kimpembe, 35% wants Ake. Again, if you're watching, we have 144 people still watching, 192 likes. There's 8 more to get 200 likes, which is our target. That hasn't changed yet. I'll try to catch up with the chat and we'll call it a day. But except if I see any question there to answer for us to address, I would do so. Or maybe if my co-host Louisa has anything she wants us to talk about, then we can go for it. I think this is a question from Henderson Parker. Lucas says, is Chelsea going to get Rafinha? I think we will get him, looking at the circumstances. And like Bobby says when he was still on the panel, Todd Boehly did not just travel to Spain for 2 old players or something like that. I think that's a chance they talked about Rafinha too. And there's a chance Barca may not be able to measure the offer that Leeds United had agreed to. And if Barca goes beyond that, I think I see us even adding more money to the bid already, because we really do want the player. Here, an AC Milan fan asking, do you guys think a possible Hakim Ziyech to AC Milan happen? I think it will happen. Again, can it fall through? There's a chance also for that one. But right now, I can say it's 70. You can say 75 to 25. 75 that he joins AC Milan. Why? Because there are things that we've talked about on occasion here on the panel. I'd argue that he will feel disrespected, given that he's a good player. Thomas Tuchel, I was saying he was one of our best players in terms of when he's starting. He's getting used to the physical aspect. He's improved his physical aspect of the game. He contributed defensively. He won aerial battles. He was scoring goals. He was assisting goals, and boom, he gets dropped to the bench for for a reason you and I don't know. And Thomas Tuchel did not explain why that happened. I think, he will join AC Milan. And if you haven't, Herbert, please do subscribe to the channel, because we'll be launching a sister channel let me say, in a month or so. We want to launch it before the World Cup, and we'll be covering football from every perspective, not just from Chelsea perspective. It says Ronaldo started liking a lot of Chelsea-related stuff on his social media. Looks like he's coming. He may well be trolling us, but let's see what happens. He also fallen out of love with United after the Greenwood stuff. It caused a fracture in the club that cannot be healed with a bad Dutch guy. Yeah, I see you just being funny there. Chelsea FC. Anything else to address here? Let me see. What do we have? Rafinha to Chelsea. Likely the longer the week goes on, as they have a replacement secure now. Also, the betting was 2-5 to join Barca. Now Chelsea 3-1. Now it's only evens as a 4-5. Okay, we'll see. Ziyech to injury prone for the Premier League again. Good luck to him. He's shown flashes of class. In that FA Cup goal versus City, should have replicated more. Again, we'll see. And that delicious goal against Tottenham, I will never forget that. I wish Ziyech the best of luck. I wanted to see the best. Again, Louisa, anything else you want us to talk about?
For now, ideally, what would be a perfect window for Chelsea? Because I feel like we might not get everything we want in this window, but what would we get? And you'll be like, okay, we've done good business.
Okay, it's common sense. First of all, we have to, sign the players, to replace the players we're losing from the defensive department of the team. We're losing. We've lost Antonio Rudiger. We've lost Andreas Christensen. That's two, and we're also losing because those two also do count as defenders. That's Cesar Azpilicueta, who often plays in a right wing back position, but sometimes right centre back position. Marcus Alonso. That's four of them. So we need to, again, I'm sure the club, they're doing the same thing. It'd be stupid for them not to be prioritizing the defensive department. But the truth remains, they have enough resources to be able to do those things simultaneously. If they want to sign defenders, they want to sign midfielders, they want to sign attackers too, I think they should be able to do that. If we get in the lead, let me say, and we get... it's a difficult one. And we get a Koulibaly and then a Kounde, then get the Young from midfield, and then the attacking area, even bringing in only Rafinha, I'd say it's a perfect window because we have the academic players that can make up the numbers. What do you think about that?
I feel like realistically, if we're losing 4 defenders, we might not be able to bring in 4 defenders. So you can't count Chalobah as someone that we're bringing in, considering his bid, he was in the team already. So we might end up.
How about Levi Colwill?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. We might end up needing to, if we want to, because we're losing 4 defenders. I don't see us getting 4 defenders because we'll probably get a midfielder, and assuming Sterling's deal is already done, that's already something that we're looking towards. So my perfect window would be, if we're going in, we should go in for Kounde. I feel like it has the kind of structure I would like at CB. I do like Koulibaly, but if we were to go in for only 2, I would get Koulibaly. I think Kounde is a nice shot because at least someone like Silva, if Silva is being rested, Koulibaly is like a direct swap for Silva in terms of experience. Also, Koulibaly, Kounde. Then wishful thinking will make me want to pick 3, but I don't see us going for 3 defenders, especially 3 defenders of that high profile. Maybe we might go in for two two known defenders. Then we may come in with one unknown defender, and not like unknown, but relatively not as elite as the names we've been linked to. Then Levi Colwell might be promoted, depends on what he feels is best for him, because I feel like a lot of these academy players are, because of more clubs opening up and more spaces opening up, they are more willing to like go and make a name for themselves in lesser known leagues and lesser known clubs.
Yeah, but again, you make a very good argument. I don't think we'll sign at 3. I think there's a chance. Actually, I don't agree. I think there's a chance we'll sign 3 high-profile defenders that may well include Kounde, Ligt, and Koulibaly. Or again, but we see what happens. If you're in the chat, before we round off, take a second to let us know the players that if Chelsea signed them, then you'd say, okay, it's a perfect window. Let us know quickly before we round off. I'll wait for you to do that. Herbert Kippen said the support for Chelsea from Italy, the most likable English team, in my opinion. Thank you very much for kindly saying that. And
yeah,
again, I have to be honest. Yeah, and to be honest with you, Herbert, I'm not lying. You know, AC Milan is my favorite Italian club just because of Carlo Ancelotti. How much I love the man himself. And Kaká also. Eric Johnson says, question, guys, don't you think it's silly to give Barcelona 60 million for Frankie to increase their bid for Rafinha? Again, this sounds like the kind thing a Nigerian man would say. Please hear your thoughts on this reasoning by this brother right here.
Yeah, you know, the way the show goes, we learn from the viewers and we see what they're saying. True Blue talked about how the TV deal works, and according to what they are expected to receive, they actually have enough money to make this business that they want to do if they are willing to spend their money. Maybe they don't want to spend their money because they want to service their debt, or because of the wage bill they have. They want to get rid of Frankie. They do want to get rid of Frankie, but do they want to? They have the money to get Rafinha. If they do want to get him, they don't need Frankie's money anymore. They just want to get rid of Frankie so they don't have to pay his salary anymore. So it's not us giving them money. It's not because they want to get Rafinha. They just want to try and maybe balance their book, because they do need to still spend according to what they make. They can't just spend the money anyhow, even though they have it. It has to be like a generated income from the club. So we're not giving them more money. We're just making the business we want to. It now depends on which we think is our priority. Do we want Frankie more than we want Rafinha?
Yeah, it comes down to the priority of Barcelona. I think if they really want Rafinha, I think they'd get him even before we give them the money for De Jong. Again, do they want the De Jong money? They do want it, because there are a couple of other players that they want to sign, but there are other ways they can make money. They're already selling their assets to get money. So, but again, a good thinking. It's always good to think outside the box. It actually makes sense. Here, Victor Angel said, my point is, we developed these players and we failed to use them. To use them or let them go. Then we'll look to buy them back with top dollars. Someone asked about getting Tammy back today. Well, Milan wants 100 million for him. Tammy, are you talking about Roma wants 100 million for him? Again, do I really want Tammy to come back under Thomas Tuchel? No.
Yes, I have like the issue here is that, first of all, Tammy does not work well with Thomas. Thomas was not even using it. And we do have a buyback clause for Tammy, but it's not even 100 million. I think it's about 60 to 70, around that. I could be wrong. Someone can correct me about that, but I know it's not above 75. So we did put a buyback clause, but at the same time, talking about we develop players and we fail to use them. The thing is, we are competing for Premier League, we are competing for Champions League. You can't expect us to be using this Cobham graduate. They graduated from Cobham at the age of 18. I'm not going to be comfortable if my club starts promoting every single academy player that we're developing to the first team at the age of 18 without sending them out on loan. And most times you can't just loan them out, you have to sell some of them.
I have to be honest with you. I totally understand Victor's argument and frustration, if you prefer. But the truth is, the simple truth is this: we cannot keep them all. We just can't. No matter how you say it, we can't keep them all. But I think the most important thing is to be sure there's a path for the youth to the first team. If that is there, then we don't have a problem. We only have a problem when it's starting to seem like the youth to the youth players as if there's no path to the first team, that no matter what you do, you're not going to get there. But in recent years, the issue isn't really about whether there's a path for the youth players to the first team or not. The issue has been they're all good, and they know they're good, and there are no shortage of clubs seeking to buy them on a permanent. So why would they stay if they're not guaranteed a starting place? And most of it, even Conor Gallagher, even still on loan, he's now an English international. Do you think he'd come back if he's not sure? I mean, he's gonna get enough game time at Chelsea that he's gonna be willing to come back. No, he'd rather go to other clubs because Crystal Palace actually wants to keep him. Southampton wants to keep was it Southampton?
Broha.
They want to keep Broha. So these kids, they know there are no shortage of clubs, vying for their signatures. It's that simple, and you can't force them to stay beyond their contracts. That's why in most cases, most of them, I think the set of Tino Livramento, we had about 4 or 5 of them that ran down the contract to nearly zero. So the club had no option that they said, okay, if you want to go, we're going to sell you and make some money. Because you can't force them to sign a new contract. If you do like that, they run it down and leave on a free. So we can't keep them all. But I think, like I argued in most recent years, the argument isn't really that there isn't a path for them. There is a path for them. But the truth remains, we can't keep them all. You have to be exceptional for you actually you're going to graduate and join the first team. In most cases, you'd have to go out on loan on several occasions before that happens. Again, people, thank you for 200 likes. I cannot thank you enough. I will try to catch up with what we have in the chat, except if my co-host has something else she wants us to talk about, we would do so. We still have 158 people watching and 200 likes. You guys are absolute legend. Again, I've read these from Victor. This is Izuchukwu. Izuchukwu, who you laughing at? Again, I don't know, but that's you. I think Teslim Wasu says, I think Chelsea should sign a starlet Rafinha Sangare. We haven't actually heard much about Sangare, and we heard that Chelsea were looking at him. I don't know what happened. If they sign him, I'd be happy because I think he would do well for us. Kounde, delete Cucurella. Yeah, keep listening to them. Are you done? If you need a bigger space, I'll give you that. Harbour says, hopefully we can meet in the Champions League, and thank you for Fik Tomori. He's a beast. Again, I regret that. And again, it depends. The whole thing comes down to how Frank Lampard treated the player.
Yeah. So you can argue that it's not just about Chelsea being Chelsea now. It depends on the various coaches that we've had over the years. Lampard was the one that was not good to Tomori. Thomas was the one that was not good to Tammy. The coach knows the players they want. A player can be really good. We might be sad with losing. Just the same way Mourinho was with, I think, KDB and Salah. Then the coach know the players they want. The player might not suit the coach, even if. But
remember, KDB wanted to leave.
Yeah, but okay, I don't know but the Salah situation. I know the Salah situation became.
Salah after the loan move, he didn't want to come back. I think we had players then that these players, I think, in their mind, I think they don't have a chance at Chelsea. But that's, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's again. I've lost my thoughts. I wanted to say something quickly. I think I just want Chelsea to sign. Go ahead, Louisa. Maybe I'll recall what I wanted to say.
Yeah. So it depends on the coach that we are having. Why these players are being sent out on loan, because they will assess the player to see why they are out on loan, to see if they are good enough to come back in. It depends solely on the coach, and we are lucky to have good academic products that we are being angry with the board for sending, because it's a luxury for us to be like, okay, this guy is good enough to be in our first team. Why isn't it not on our first team? So we should really be patient. If we're going to trust the coach in the transfer window, we should also trust the coach when it comes to the loaning of our academy players and the pathway of the academy players into the first team. It's the coach's decision. It's the coach that knows the kind of players they want. That's the only bad thing is that coaches will change. The academy players will come and they will go, and we might end up like losing players who will turn into really elite players. But we shouldn't like stress ourselves about that, because there's a coach at the moment. The coach knows what he needs at the moment. It's not a matter of 5 years down the line we're going to regret that. We're not in the business of 5 years down the line we're going to regret that.
Again, Adam here says, I just want Chelsea to sign Piero Hincapié to play. I don't know him at the back from Leverkusen. I don't want us supposed to get him, to get this guy. His performance is so young, just signs of class already in the Ecuador side, improving them. He's not a player I know that much, but I'll try and look him up. Is a Chukwu Okolo say that Barcelona wouldn't like to make mistakes again on transfers? I think a lot will change at Barcelona, but it will take time for them to get out of the debt. But I don't think it stops them from signing players. They have a very rich history, even when the money is not there. But now they still have the money because they're selling assets to make money. The Ligt, Rafinha, Kounde, Sterling, and the Jong, those are your preferred signing for the window. I hope we get in Cucurella in that be a great signing. We cannot keep relying on Chile. That's the truth. We need competition for Chile. Thank you kindly for saying that, Cucurella. Also, Cucurella can play as, he can play a left wing back position if need be. Rafinha, Sangare, Hincapié, Kounde, Ronaldo, Sterling, Klaus, Cucurella, bring them all. I say, I get that. Adam, I can't believe you're saying that. Really, it's not that simple. Then get rid of Deadwood. Getting rid of the Deadwood itself isn't actually easy. And you're seeing that Ross Barkley is actually part of the preseason already. But that's by the way. With that, we've come to the end of the show, and I can't thank you guys enough. Please take a second, go follow Louisa. That's our Twitter handle, Louisa Soul_Daro. And also do follow the Chelsea Perspective Twitter. Please do so. I will appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Give you a like on your chat. Good night. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you to Harvard. Thank you to Steve Kromick for joining us. Have you got anyone else for the panel? I think we're done for the day. Maybe tomorrow. And hit me up on Twitter if you want to be part of the panel. We'll talk. I'll make sure to send you the link tomorrow. It says, again, thank you to Adam. Thank you to Kronostan. Thank you to Amram. Thank you to Izuchukwu. Thank you to True Blue, who was here before, probably have gone to bed. And everyone else, apologies if I miss your name. I am only a human, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow for the Blue Morning Show. Or if you prefer the evening shows, I hope to see you tomorrow. Or if I'm not here, I'll be backstage, and Louisa will be the one in charge. I hope to see you guys. God bless us all, and bye.